I feel like
No,
I'm.
no. I know. One, you're close, then you're far. I mean, I feel like you're Elmo. Near, far, near, far.
Just like to be complicated.
What's
It
new?
is
You're
Red
a woman.
Friday too.
You are a woman. So,
So deal with it.
all right, we're live. We're live on Wimkin. Welcome, everybody. Happy Red Friday. Wimkin, we are good to go. Good to see you. Welcome, Twitter. This is part 2 of today. I want everyone. First of all, let's cue the music here. We'll bring it back in. Let's bring this down almost really kind of low. All right. So I want to let everybody know everything is fine. Everyone, there's no way to say this where it doesn't freak everybody out. So I got to start. Everybody is 100% safe and fine, and everything is okay. Olivia was taking the kids to the football game to drop them off for homecoming because it's homecoming tomorrow. And then when she was coming down a back road, they're everywhere right now because they're migrating down from the mountains because winter's coming. And there was a family of deer, and there was 2 of them, and she clipped a deer. She's fine. Nothing really happened. The car, it has some panel that's got to be pushed back in and a fender. It's all Honda, so it's vinyl. It's all easy. She did it right. She did not swerve in oncoming traffic, but she anticipated the impact and did what I taught her, and I got to give her a big hug, and she swerved enough not to go into traffic, but to make the damage to the side of the vehicle, which is what I've always told her, versus center. Center takes out engine, side takes out a quarter panel, and maybe an alignment. And she did it perfect. And she's just a few minutes late. So as soon as she comes home and I hit her for her impetuance, then I'll put her back on the show. As long as she's not like too black and blue. It's, whatever.
Rest. I mean, an impact is still an impact,
Whatever.
It is.
She's like, I don't want to be late for the What's that?
Did you instruct her to bring home the deer meat?
Yeah, no, she didn't kill the deer. And Ethan was like, the deer's dead. I said, no, Ethan, the deer's not dead. And he's like, how do you know? And I said, well, because the damage was on the side of the car, which means that she hit the very back flank of the deer. Otherwise, any other damage would have hit headlight or center mass. So therefore, she brushed up against that deer, didn't even spin him around. And it's just enough. So it's going to have but people don't understand. A deer's flank is like the size of your chest. It is an extreme, that's where all of its speed comes from, its ability to leap, and it is overdeveloped in their haunches. They are incredibly strong. So guarantee that deer is fine, and Ethan's fine, Olivia's fine. We're going to need a new car, so donate to the DUM Show. I'm just kidding. Your car's going to be all right. Everyone's fine. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We're just going to start a little bit late. It's Red Friday. Amy, you want to tell them what Red Friday is?
It means remember everyone deployed. And despite what Kamala Harris has said about not having any troops anywhere else in the world stationed, we do. We almost always have troops out there who are serving and protecting us here in the United States of America. So please remember them, remember their families, and say a little prayer for them.
Yeah. Leeroy was sharing a deer story. I was up getting changed, and I heard a little bit of it. But, as I was, stripping off my clothes from my body and flexing in front of the mirror to see the
imagine me.
I'm busy. Excuse me. I'm almost done to give you your segue. The marble chiseled in Olympian. Shut up, Stone. I decided to go ahead and pass it off to dude. You gotta let me finish because something good was going to come out of that, and it was horribly amiss. Tell us about your time that a deer hit you.
I'm just still soaking in the imagery that you've kind of. Just give me a second, okay?
I got pictures coming. You're okay. I got your back.
Just keep talking. I'm almost there.
Do you want me to go low?
Yes.
Low and slow. All right. We could do the Howard
story that I was sharing.
Yeah, go ahead.
The story that I was sharing right before it was while Matt was ready to change. I was telling Amy, I was still working, but it was also signed up for the reserves. I was coming home from work one day, and where I used to live was a big, like, there was a Metro Parks right there. And I'm driving home, and I see this pack of deer that pulls out in front of me. And so I naturally slow down. Well, there's this one asshole deer, not looking what he was doing, looked like Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies. The thing comes through the side glass and breaks the glass and impacts me on the side of my head. I get knocked out. The last thing I remember is its hooves got wrapped up I was wearing my seatbelt. This thing flips on the side of the car. Its hooves knock off my mirror, and I'm out cold for a hot second. By the time I wake up, I wake up and I see this deer standing out in front of me, had a big gash on the side of its neck, but more or less, he just looked at me and was like, fuck it, I'm out of here. So he jumps away. Fortunately, this whole thing happened 400 feet from a fire station. So they pull the ambulance to the end of the driveway, basically, and they're like, are you okay? Do you want us to take you to the hospital? I'm like, no. I ended up going to the hospital on my own. They gave me a CAT scan. I had concussion. I had some other stuff, a minor laceration. Fast forward, again, this is when I was getting ready to go to the C school in the Navy. So I go down to the imagery school in Dam-Neck, Virginia, and my wife gets a hold of me. She's like, we just got like a butt ton of mail, and some of it's from the insurance company, and I went ahead and opened it, and she's like, they want to sue whoever it was that hit you. And I'm like, well, it was a deer. How's that going to work? So literally she tried to explain it. 8 weeks later, I got another mail, and the accomplice in the accused case was, not even joking, Mr. or Mrs. Deer. And that's how it was framed in the insurance letter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Aw.
All right. Now that I put Matt to sleep,
we can get to this.
All right.
The good news is you don't have to survive through the musical intro of the show now because we don't have any time. So I guess we'll just go to Wimkin. We'll be right back. That's a good story, Leeroy. I'm teasing you. It was great. It was great. Step into a Wimkin. What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather bound by our folks. And I also want to let you know I'm going to be putting a skew on this weekend sometime when it comes to the Documents of Freedom. Do you remember the original Documents of Freedom that I had, which was the leatherette binding, and it says Documents of Freedom in gold lettering on a blue case, and all 3 of the books slipped in? It's the one I first sold. Well, Arcadia Publishing found out that I was selling those, and they're like, dude, do you want some of these? And I was like, yes. And they just sent them to me. So I'm going to be selling those to you. And for people who can't afford, because the wooden box, it's expensive. I mean, custom wooden, holders or flags or anything else is expensive. So we got you covered, get you taken care of. I'll have those up on the site. But anyway, Documents of Freedom is available. I'm going to skip the commercial. You've all seen it. It's the #1 selling thing on our site. We've sold now 175 of these things. Please, if you have not had a chance, Christmas is coming, so get them in early. I've got 4 pending for order right now. I do have 2 more available that are going to ship by November. You got to get those orders in probably by the 22nd. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait another month. And that will be we'll do 1 more order for the 14th of Christmas, and that's it. We're done. So got to get them in. We're skipping to the next thing. We'll be right back.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Amy is here. Olivia is in limbo. She'll be home any minute. Leeroy. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We gotta introduce our panel. Amy, give them a 15-second of who's who. We have a lot of new people, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dawn Information Show. My name is Amy. I am also a really avid roadkill person. I have killed lots of animals in my life, unfortunately.
It's good.
I felt like I was missing out. I have been hit by a deer. I killed a huge possum on Christmas Eve with my kids looking at Christmas lights. I'm like really, yeah. So I'm not a stranger to roadkill, but yeah, I'm Amy, and glad to be here. I'm not here on Fridays a lot, so it's nice to be here on a Friday.
It's good to have you here on a Red Friday. It's wonderful to have you here.
Yeah.
Leeroy, we've heard enough, but you can go ahead and give us some more. Who are you?
Oh, sure. So I am Leeroy Jenkins on the show, folks. I don't use my real name, as I am a 20-year Navy veteran, still in the intelligence community, and with multiple deployments. Matt and I have shared some of the same deployment locations, and I am here for moral support.
Yeah.
That's good, because we're going to need you tonight, because there's a lot here, and this directive is definitely concerning. Did you have a chance to read the article?
I did.
And did you see your accolades on there? Just so if you don't think I care about you, did you see how I gave you credit?
I did, and thank you very much. And actually, it's funny. Ahead of time, when I got your text, and it said, "Hey, we're going to be talking about this," I jotted down a few notes, and then when I went to go read your article, I was like, "Fuck, they match again." So,
well, it's not like we weren't trained by the same damn government. The government that taught you how to defend taught me how to kill.
I come with a very specific set of skills. Yeah,
makes me a nightmare for people like you. If you don't harm her and return her, that will be the end of it. I will not look for you. But if you do not return her, I promise you, I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you. We got a busy show tonight. So I'll be honest with you. I give off this demeanor that, everything's good and I'm easy. I'm totally worried about Olivia. And it's ridiculous. And even though I know she's fine. So
no, it's natural to worry. Just call her.
No, it's
yeah.
not. No, yeah. It's a woman thing. I'm just gonna call.
No.
To call?
To show that you love her and you're expressing your emotions. It's not a bad thing. Come on.
Men text and I would say, "Hey, did you start dinner yet?"
I was gonna ask you. I was like, did you get yogurt at least? I'm just gotta find out if we're gonna get yogurt.
But if you guys need a car, let us know.
Did you get yogurt at least?
I did, yes.
Say it again.
Yes, I got yogurt.
All right. Well, that's all that matters. Are you home now?
Yes,
this home is so damn big. I don't even know if you're home. Are you home?
Yes, I'm home.
Okay. Speaking of big, it's Friday night.
Oh,
kids are gone. Yeah. He said big. Hey, would you mind making my post-workout shake? I didn't have a chance to do it. If you would not mind, please. And are you doing okay? Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
You're not scared, shaking? You didn't cry and shit?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
It could have been so much worse.
Thanks for not ruining the car. Hey, thanks for doing what I taught you, which is not hit it dead center, but clip it. I'm proud of you. Yeah. All that shit I said that you're a horrible driver, it's still true, but you're a little bit better than you were. Oh, don't flip me off. Jeez, just flip me off. God. You're number 1 too, honey. All right. Bobby Richardson, thank you so much for the donation. That starts us off today. Like we do at the beginning of the show, I'm going to go ahead and do the scroll. These are the people, the last 20, who have donated to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We are 100% funded by you. We actually, I always try to declare and be honest, Wimkin helps us out, and they give us a monthly fee to help with the show and promote it and all that other stuff. We've all benefited from that with stock and things to that effect. But overall, that's it. Everything else is off of ad revenue. And when Facebook decided to cut 96% of our budget, we had to go to a donation model. We did that 6 months ago. I am happy to announce we have never missed goal, and this will be the 15th night of hitting goal. We are doing pretty good so far, and I wanted to thank everybody on the list and all the people who haven't. We've had hundreds of people. I think 227 or 28 different people donate to the show, which is an incredible thing. And if you can continue and help us, we appreciate it, and we will continue to provide good content for you. So goal is up right here. We're at $51.99 for the night. We're trying to reach 200. We are 1/4 the way there. Leeroy, there is a concerning document that Amy, Olivia, and myself have read. This is DOD Directive 524001. I'm going to put it over myself because nobody puts Amy in the corner. I want to get your thoughts on this, and Amy's thoughts, and Olivia also probably has some stuff. It's extremely concerning. We just wrote an article over on Don't Unfriend Me, the DUM News, and you can go to the DUM News and read it. I feel it's a fairly strong breakdown of what the document is and what the risks are, but there's obviously questions that I have. I want to get Leeroy's perspective on this for shizzle, and then the rest of the panel. So Leeroy, walk us through it. Why do we have to be worried, and why did this like get your gusset in a gully?
So for the uninitiated, that is a DOD document, and what it's intended to do is give guidance to the whole of the military. Most military members, especially reservists, have to go through this training where they get updated, the updated gist on these documents, and that's like an annual requirement. Oddly enough, that requirement is supposed to happen in the month of October, but they don't update them all the time. They update them every 4, 5, 6 years. So in the case of this document, again, this is DOD 5240.1. This just got updated in September of this year. Now, what makes this update different than in prior years is that in section 3.3.A2C is the very first time that I can recall in history where this document is outlining the potential for lethal force of the military against Americans.
I love you.
And I'll say that again. This is the first time in history that a document of this series is giving some sort of guidance about, when the military is being guided through law enforcement and how what the limitations are for violence against Americans all the way up to lethality. That's never been mentioned before. And so for me, this was a huge red flag. Like, why is this being brought out now?
We're looking at section 3.3. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's 3.3, where it talks about the levels of authority.
Yep, right here. I got it. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yep. And you can read there, what is third sentence? Oh, something popped in the way there.
Yep, I took it out.
Okay. Go back up a little bit.
Yep, hold on. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph. There you go. Agency or state or local law enforcement agency when lives are in $spinning. Response to a request for such assistance in accordance with the following approval authorities. So, and then a little bit further down, I believe it's in section C, it kind of gives the direction about, where it starts mentioning, it has language in there, including death or serious bodily injury, assistance in responding with assets with the potential for lethality. That should be a huge red flag for everyone. So this is one of those documents that, again, this is the overall guidance that the military uses. And specifically what this is doing is saying, hey, in cases where the military is there to assist law enforcement, local law enforcement, right? This document is now giving some level of authority to use lethal force. That should terrify you.
So how can the DOD use this for like overreach in civilian matters? So for instance, things that are not federal, but state and local level. And does this impact on the 10th Amendment? So let's talk about the overreach and then ask the question, does this impact the 10th Amendment? Because you have to start asking questions about habeas corpus. You have to talk about the 4th and 5th Amendment, which is supposed to not be done by the federal government. Federal government cannot get involved in state crime. That is, unless it is a multi-state crime or international crime. So you have to ask yourself the question. So I guess the question is, how can they use this, the DOD, as an overreach, cooperating with law enforcement against citizens? And then we'll get into the constitutionality.
Well, and I think what you're referring to, are we getting to Posse Comitatus?
Yeah.
Is that
hmm
okay?
Yeah.
So there's an act that is out there, and
You get to. Yeah, I'm going to give you the softball pitch. You get to decide if you want to take a swing at it or not. You don't need to ask me. You just go.
something. This is something that was first introduced on, I believe, it was like 1807, the Posse Comitatus Act, and what it was it was an act that gave very strict outlines that basically said no military forces can be used to act against American citizens, right? And this has been backed up through various other acts. In USC 10, Articles 251 through 255, it actually gives more of a definition of what the repercussions of that are. And then there's things like the Insurrection Act of 1807. So there's several legal documents that you have to bounce this off of to say, wait, am I in the right now if I'm a military member being directed to use violence against Americans? Am I in the right, or am I going to be held to USC 10? Am I going to go to prison? And you could go to prison for up to 2 years. And I think the fine is like $25,000. So there's a lot that you have to bounce off of each other in order to figure out if you're in the right or wrong. USC 10, Articles 334.4 says that you must first issue a the president must first issue a proclamation ordering the insurgents to disperse within a limited time. So what that means is that the president's going to come forth to the crowd and say, hey, you got to get out of here. And you have to give them time to react to that, right? That's USC 10 334.4. And if they don't, then I assume that DOD 5240 would kick in. And if local law enforcement already have military on hand, like, are they obligated to listen to local law enforcement? I don't know.
Right. Well, that's the real question of all of this, is because when you suspend Posse Comitatus and you say federal government is now taking over local law enforcement jurisdiction, you turn this into a federal case versus a state case, which has a completely different set of rules and repercussions. If you accompany this with the Patriot Act, this gives them the ability to suspend habeas corpus completely and actually consider you as an enemy combatant of the state, or even worse, a domestic terrorist, which is federal. So this is a very, very serious thing, man. Ladies, I know you had a chance to read it. I've got more questions. I want to bring everybody in. Your thoughts on this, Olivia? I know you had a chance to read it. Did you have something that you wanted to talk about or question or anything else?
Yeah, well,
Shit. Sorry. Hold on. Give me a sound check. 1, 2.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
You're green. Go ahead.
Am I good? Okay. So yeah, I read it today at lunch, and my first thought was being able to use lethal force without going through the proper channels, but then they have 72 hours after the fact to report it or do whatever they have to do. How is this not weaponizing against normal people?
It
is. Because, I mean, who's to say that they don't like somebody? They've been causing a stink. Something's going on. So they send them in, use lethal force, and 72 hours later, oh, wait a second, you weren't supposed to do that, blah, blah, blah. But yet the person's already taken care of and their problem solved. That's where I was, that it just seems a little sketchy that they can do that with pretty much carte blanche to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that's real scary.
Yeah. I mean, you got to ask yourself, the question is, I guess the next follow-up would be, could they use this for people who are protesting the government, which is a First Amendment right? The right to assemble, the right to protest, the right to freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion. You're impacting the First Amendment. And if you're saying that we deem you to be in a criminal act where lethality can be used to get you to stop, who gets to decide that? Is this an emergency judge, or does this become a secret court? Does this become like a FISA warrant where it's done in secret, done in private? I can't imagine that when there's a riot going on, it's going to take 72 hours. What I foresee is a FISA type experience where you get on a Zoom call with a judge, and that judge stamps that immediately within 5 or 10 minutes of whenever you decide to go full bullets to or dollars to donuts. These are concerns that I have of how will this be handled. But there is very particular language in this document that says, well, this won't be used against protests, or this won't be, or collecting information against a group of people who are protesting. But we know very different, don't we, when it comes to the Edward Snowden documents, the NSA, spying on Facebook, our email, spying on a presidential campaign, for God's sakes. This is that there is nothing. Okay, the way I see this, and we'll continue to talk, is that I see this as giving a child who has not demonstrated the necessary requirements of discipline, behavior, and fear a weapon that they have no idea what they're doing. And the government, in my opinion, is wielding a power that is antithetical to what the Constitution and what the founders laid out for us. Amy, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So I actually saw this a few days, like 2 days, 1 or 2 days before Leeroy sent it over. And I saw it on TikTok of all places. So I didn't actually give much credence to it. I was like, whatever, moving along. And I figured, well, maybe it's something with, January 6th. We're almost at the elections. Like maybe they're anticipating this. When Leeroy sent it over and I started looking into it a little bit more, and maybe I missed it and it's in there. Is there like an expiration date with this, all these new orders that I didn't see?
Generally, they don't expire until the next revision comes around.
Right. So,
That's
okay,
correct.
that was my biggest concern. And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is not just for the elections. We've had a lot of natural disasters, and there's a lot coming out of North Carolina, especially right now. And I'm thinking, like, does this have to do with the people there? I don't know if people have seen the videos, but there's a lot going on there, and people are not happy with our government there, and it's just a mess. So are they anticipating something like this? I don't know. It just seems crazy. It did not seem constitutional to me, and I'm not an expert like Leeroy and Matt are, but it seems really wrong. And I don't understand how this could actually be okay to enforce on any level, personally.
Real quick, the National Guard and governor have extensive permissions to act with lethality if a crime is being committed that it warrants. For instance, an attempted murder, or a felonious assault, or a posse type situation where group retribution is being delved out. If you have that ability, what this is saying is it suspends those very deliberate and well-written laws and rules and allows personal judgment to enter the fray to decide if something is a threat to the institution of law. That is a very different situation, because we have always believed innocence until proven guilty. What you're doing is removing that and assuming guilt before establishing innocence and executing your judgment without judge, jury, and trial. This is to me, this is a break in case of emergency. But when they do, if you want civil war, this is how you get civil war. This is how you do it. The government going in and snatching people in the middle of the night and putting them in camps is not a far cry from this. This is Gestapo type tactics. What they did is they gave the government unfettered access to be judge, jury, and trial without a justice system, and they imposed military law on their people. And after that, then you're done.
My biggest concern, I mean, obviously, the infringements of civil liberties for regular Americans, but thinking of it from the military person's point of view. Thank you, Joanne.
Yes.
Thinking of it from
the previous, which I didn't see. Wendy, thank you.
Wendy. Looking at it from the military perspective, let's say you do this, right? And then they can come back to you after the fact and say, "Oh, well, you took away this person's civil rights. You infringed on this person's civil liberties. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chappelle.
Chappelle.
Chevelle." Now, that you can be held liable for that. Now, the flip side of that is, let's say you're like, you know what, this is just a bit too far for me. I don't feel comfortable with it, and I am not going to start trying to enforce laws as a military person on regular Americans. Now, can that be considered disobedience of a direct order from local law enforcement? So you could be in this double-edged sword kind of situation. You could be caught in a catch-22 as a military member and not even be aware of it. Something else I wanted to bring up. Consider the timing of this. Who is in charge right now? The Democrat. It's a Democrat-led White House, right? People are always talking about how Donald Trump would potentially weaponize the military,
Right.
and would, use the military against its own people. And here's a document coming out during this administration, not Trump's, this administration, that's saying, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and pencil this in so that we give the military carte blanche to, whack people if they so see it necessary. And I'm like, that is crazy to me. And when I was reading your article, I was reminded of something that I had written about fascism, about Nazism. There was something called the Enabling Act that happened in pre-World War II, but Nazi Germany, where they did something very similar. They suspended regular Germans' civil rights, and they said, for the time being, nobody has any civil rights, and we're going to use the military to enforce that. This is the same thing. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kevin.
buddy.
So this has frightening implications.
Jeffrey Honeycutt lives in North Carolina, and I want to get his opinion on this. Jeffrey, if you want to call in, man, we would love to have you call in so we can talk a little bit. He's actually in, is it Asheville?
Yeah, I think that's what he wrote, Asheville. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in Asheville, and it's one of the hardest areas hit. So, Jeffrey, if you want to call in, we would love to hear from you. Now is a good time because obviously you can enter this discussion. Here's my problem: is that this, like, based on what you've read, Leeroy and Olivia and Amy, it sounds like that this can be applied without due process. Like,
right.
It would be like, in my opinion, very similar to an indictment where the prosecutorial DA or attorneys generals, it comes in and says, here is the prosecutorial evidence we have on this person, enough to go to trial. Is instead, here is the prosecutorial evidence on this group of people who are effectively, rioting, looting, protesting, causing physical violence. We want permission to use lethal force against them, and then it's given to me. Am I reading this right, or is this completely? Am I off base?
I would take that the way you did. That is exactly how I would take it. What's interesting? There's a section in here that it references EO 12333. Okay.
Yeah,
Matt
the
knows what I'm
executive
talking
order.
about. Right. Now that is something that was written specifically for intelligence community, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that they didn't infringe upon the civil rights of any American citizen. By using our assets
Jeff,
or steps to study Americans. And on the 12th page, section 3.2, paragraph number 2, unless otherwise precluded
let me get that up. Hey, let me get that up so everyone can read along. So you got to give me a second.
Yeah, you're good.
You got to say, hey, teleprompter bitch. Page 12, what?
Page 12, section 3.2, but look at paragraph number 2. Okay. Unless otherwise precluded.
I don't have it.
By
Leeroy, I don't have it. Section 3.2.
It's right there. Oh, you're right there.
Okay.
Don't move.
Okay. Calm down.
2.
Relax. Hold on. I know you're amped, dude, but I got to get it highlighted, and I didn't understand what you were saying. Now I do. Okay, there you go. Go get them.
Unless otherwise precluded by law or EO 12333, participating in law enforcement activities to investigate or prevent the clandestine intelligence activities by foreign powers or their agents, international terrorist activities, or international narcotics activities. This kind of language, it's like they're trying to put EO 1233 on suspension in lieu of cooperation with federal agencies who might be looking at American citizens. That's what I fear.
Yeah, but look at number 4 here, which also, and Jeffrey, we hear you. We know you're there. We're just trying to finish this up. When lives are in danger, rendering any other lawful assistance to law enforcement agencies or other civil authorities provided such assistance is consistent with and has been approved by an official pursuant to Section 2 of this issuance. Such official will ensure that the legal office providing the DoD component concurs in such assistance. So
as long as
right,
am I reading that right? As long as local law enforcement and the military lead are in agreement,
that's
then
correct.
they can direct military action.
Yes,
in study, in the use of intelligence activities, or in case of potential physical force against American citizens. Did I read that right?
Let's lethal force. So what you're saying is that it is suspension of due process, and ultimately is allowing law enforcement agencies in certain situations to solicit, grant, or / approve without amendment legal jurisdiction and approval to, with lethal force, stop what they deem to be a threat to whatever institution they and AOR that their responsibilities fall under. Holy shit. That's serious stuff. I'm being very careful what I say. It is terrifying. Jeffrey, we appreciate you, man. You're in North Carolina. Can you hear us okay, pal?
And thanks to Jesus.
I can hear you. I was wanting to know, I have a brother on the line too. He was a colonel in the military. It's Rodney Honeycutt, ex-Rodney Colonel Honeycutt.
Okay.
And I was hoping he was on the line with us also.
Jeff. Okay, so Colonel, and then we got Jeff. Colonel, can you hear us okay?
I can, but Jeff, I think while I'm talking, you may have to mute your phone. Hey, man, thanks for the opportunity. I'm the county manager at Madison County. We're one of the 4 western counties in North Carolina that took a big hit with Hurricane Helene. We got 33 miles along the French Broad River, lost about 60 homes, just finished the rescue operations, have 8 confirmed storm-related deaths and still 1 missing.
First of all, dude, I've been doing this a long time, and Leeroy and I have sat in a few rooms with a few birds and definitely some stars. This is the first time I've gotten that cold feeling up my spine, Colonel. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not awestruck. I am excited that we're going to be able to get some information from you and know that it's from a credible source. First of all, how are you guys holding up? And what do we need to know that we don't know right now?
So we're day 22. I'll describe 3 different neighborhoods to you. Rollins is a riverside community, kind of like a shanty town, a mill town.
Yes, sir.
Everybody in there pretty much lost their home or severely damaged. FEMA on the ground now with our county inspectors. It's not a complete wash, but pretty close. The next town down is called Marshall. High water mark there was 23 feet. So if you can imagine 23 feet of water.
Yes, sir.
Coming up. Post office washed away. First 7 buildings inside of Marshall, completely destroyed, rubble. Great response from the 82nd and 101st on the ground. Have IHEMIs out of the National Guard help us digging out. And then the next town down municipality, it's called Hot Springs. Hot Springs had 9 businesses, all 9 destroyed or in some version of it. But good news, we got schools back in session on Wednesday. We don't need another COVID repeat.
Yes,
So it's about getting predictability back for our kids. But this is going to be a generational change. Our courthouse, 114-year-old, iconic. If you can think of white columns and brick, had 2 feet of water on the inside of it. So it's going to be a generational change.
Yes, sir. Colonel, as far what you've mentioned, our fellow brothers in arms and military, we always know that they are the first and the best responders in these situations because it's the attitude of following orders and doing what needs to get done. And whether that's cutting through bureaucratic red tape, we know the 82nd was on standby. We know they were screaming from the rafters, begging to get into this fight. Did the government respond in a timely manner, or did they drag their feet like we're hearing so much?
Now, you're getting mixed signals. We had, on day 4, National Guard assets. We had FEMA on the ground, had Red Cross on the ground. It takes a little bit for us to uncurl. And in any situation, our county lost complete communications outside of the county for about 48 hours. But we got some great first responders. We got 9 fire departments, swift water rescue teams. And they carried the day. So, I love my brothers in arms, man, but these local boys got after it. So I can't let them go without being noticed.
Roger that.
And I tell everybody, we had active duty and National Guard Army. But, man, we got an army of volunteers out there, 2 foot of mud down the middle of Main Street, people with shovels and picks, getting it out of the way.
You see any boys from Team Rubicon out there, tell them Matt Spear said hello. I'm a big fan of Team Ruby, and I know they were out in North Carolina. I just don't know if they're in Asheville right now. But if you see any Team Rubicon guys, we went through Harvey, and we knew them. I knew them before then, but they're a good group of guys, and that was the same thing we saw in Harvey. We saw the local populace, people from Louisiana, all across Arkansas, come down and help us, and it was amazing. Colonel, how are you guys on water and food right now? And then I know everyone else got some question, but first of all, what can we do to help? And how can we empower the show and the listeners to help in any way, shape, or form? Is there a charity that you recommend? Who's getting the money to the ground as fast as possible? And how do we assist?
I'm going to give you a phone number. So we got this group called Nanostead, small homes. They are leading our volunteer effort because we wanted to get the government out of the volunteer effort and let them take the lead. And they've been doing a fabulous job.
Okay.
Their number is 828-649-8098. They are taking requirements and matching resources.
Okay.
We have everything from people with chainsaws to people bringing in bulldozers. You tell them you can call in and say, hey, what requirements you need, and they'll tell you. Or you can call in and say, hey, here's the resources, and they'll match you up with somebody. And again, that number is 828-649-8098.
Yes, sir. I got the number. We'll be calling ahead. I did one more quick question, then I'm going to hand it over to everyone else, and thank you for spending the time. The one thing about this show is that we never try to jump to conclusions. We're always about dealing with facts and getting firsthand accounts as often as we can, doing a lot of research and digging and not putting ourselves out there and making the mistake of reporting something that isn't true. I don't know if you heard us talking about this new directive and initiative that was approved on September 27th in lieu of the election, and also what we feel could be civil unrest is DOD Directive 5240-01. I don't want to put you on the spot, and I certainly know that if you are in service right now, I don't answer anything that you aren't comfortable with. Have you had a chance to hear about this directive in regards to local law enforcement being able to use lethal force based upon law enforcement agencies working with the federal government to essentially quash any type of threat that would be deemed necessary by local law enforcement with federal approval?
No, I've been knee deep in mud, man, but I can tell you that we got 8 polling sites. All 8 are operational, and we've got 2 days of early voting under the belt,
Yes, sir.
and good turnout.
Good. That's what I want to hear. That's the best thing. Hey, are we going to take North Carolina red one more time?
I'm going to say yes, but I got to be careful of that because, I'm apolitical in my current job.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to, offend anybody, but I think it will be.
We're gonna hold you personally accountable if it's not. Amy, Leeroy, Olivia, did you have questions for Colonel Honeycutt?
I don't think I have any questions, but oh, sorry. Do you want to go, Liv?
Go ahead.
No. But I just, yes, like let us know. We got the number, Matt, but however we can help. And I know I haven't personally volunteered, but we have sent a lot. Us personally, our church, our kids' school. We've been trying to help you guys as much as possible. I hope you guys are receiving the help, and I hope that it's going to good use. I'm so glad to hear that you guys are working together. And from what I can tell, it is neighbors helping neighbors, and it's great to see that. It helps restore my faith in humanity, but it's also sad that you are going through this and there's not more help to give. And just praying for everyone there.
Thank you. I tell you what, our church organizations here, they have reached out unbelievable. We've had a task force of about 750 people on the ground between law enforcement officers, our first responders, and churches have, jumped in every day. We've had hot meals almost every day spread across the county, and it's really been on the backbone of our churches.
Colonel, what's your MOS? Your National Guard, is that correct?
No, I was active duty for 37 years.
Oh, wow.
So started out as a young enlisted supply sergeant, transitioned to riding around on M1 tanks the Fulda Gap in Europe, transitioned to the 82nd, jumped out of airplanes for about 10 years, and then to more of a strategic level, was part of the deterrence along the Russian border after Putin annexed Crimea.
Yeah,
and in the end,
I was there for that.
Ended with
we're Leeroy and I are just salivating right now. Go ahead though.
And then finished as the RCENT G4 in charge of moving, logistics, people, personnel, ammo over to the CENTCOM AOR.
Oh, okay. CENTCOM. So we've probably chewed some of the same dirt and drank some of the same water. It's interesting. Leeroy, go ahead. I'm sure you have some questions for the Colonel.
I just wanted to know if the Colonel had seen anything from Ohio has a task force that we tend to send down to disaster areas like that. They're called Task Force 1. If you see any of those guys, just wish them well and tell them I said thank you for what they do. And just a personal thing, if there's anything we can do for you, please let me know.
Yeah. Well,
yes, I've seen Task Force Wake Forest, Task Force Maine. And these were mostly swiftwater rescue teams. That was our biggest shortfall and capability gap we had on the ground. I think that was our big two. And there was one more. I can't remember the name of it off the top. But we had 50 different law enforcement agencies from across the U.S. Come and contribute. So
God, I love that.
Huge success story.
How's logistics right now? Are you able to point A to point B right now, or are you still having to go A to Z?
No, I mean, logistics is good, but it was so this is a county of 22,000 people, far western North Carolina, and the first time we had 13 Chinooks land inside of western North Carolina at this little county, man, I said people come out of the woodworks to see that because, it's something they'd never experienced. And I was proud to see my brothers and sisters in arms come to us. We had 72 hours. We had more water, MREs on the ground than we probably needed. And then the community jumped in. I tell you what, it's been a whole team effort, and I'm really proud of our brothers and sisters in arms.
We have a couple questions from the audience. Are you originally from Asheville is the first question, or are you living there now or in the area?
Born and raised right here, and left 1984, came back in 2022.
What a blessing that they have you there, Colonel.
Yeah.
What a blessing. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps, man. A good friend of ours, Amy Stamcombe, on the show. has a question, and I'm going to try to phrase this in a way where it doesn't seem to be like a gotcha question. There's rumors of redistribution of aid that's coming in to people who are not qualified for that, college students or people who are posing as needing some sort of assistance who are not getting. Are you seeing any of that on the ground, or is this community based where everybody's rowing and the people who need it get it and the people who don't are the ones helping?
I haven't witnessed that. I know that when I had the number off the top of my head a few minutes ago, our individual assistance numbers were probably right where you'd expect. And this is a part of rural North Carolina. You're not going to come in here and try to impose on anybody. You'd be run off before you got across the county line.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We come from a very similar place in Virginia. Yeah. So, and in Houston, Texas, when we were there, that stuff didn't fly. Colonel,
another question.
Go ahead. Yeah, Liv.
Somebody wants to know, what are you in need of? Coats, boots, clothes, etc. What is needed right now?
So right now, we don't want to turn anybody away, but we got to take a knee and kind of drink some water, because we've got these 60 families we know that have lost their homes. Yeah. And we've got them placed temporarily. But what we got to start doing is targeting these families with specific organizations that can help them rebuild. We've got, cold weather gear, sleeping bags, chainsaws, generators. We've got enough of that right now. But we just need to figure out how we can marry up an organization with a family to come in over a couple of weeks period and help them get back on their feet.
Colonel, I want to offer my assistance. I've worked with several different groups out here in Washington, D.C., and 3,300 501c3s, 9-Line Apparel, Grunt Style, some of the largest military-run organizations. I know Tim Jensen personally. I know the Scott Davidson, who runs Burbiz, which brings all these 501c3 and military-owned businesses. I have a feeling I can put you in touch with somebody who can find builders, find people who can come down there and donate supplies and time. But let me do that favor for you and put you in touch with that good friend of mine from Washington, D.C., who has the ear of the president, former and current. I think that's something that might help a little bit, and see if we can get some veteran companies to help you guys out directly.
And I'm going to give you another number here real quick.
Yeah.
So that last number was our volunteer kind of assistance line. This next number is where we take large-scale corporations who are willing to help and sponsor. That number is 828-649-1815. And that's 828-649-1815. And that number is 24/7. We'll get that number, and that's where we start linking up corporations to individual homes.
Okay. Yeah, if we can get Purple Heart Foundation or Wounded Warrior or Hiring Our Heroes or any of the companies out there that do this at a national level to help out and give back, and that would be an amazing thing. Tunnels for Towers. Gary Sinise and these guys are already working on this from behind the scenes, but my point is that there's companies that are military run and based who probably are looking for a way to help and maybe not know. So I'm going to put them in touch with you, and I'll give that number to Scott Davidson. And hell, if we can get 1% of those organizations to help, I think that would be monumental and move mountains, because Christmas is right around the corner, brother. We have got to get these families some sort of semblance before the holidays,
Yeah.
Would love to see everyone have Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah.
Right. I have a quick question. I don't know if it's in North Carolina, so I saw this again a couple times. The tornado shelters they're bringing in, is that happening where you are? Or what are they for if it is? I saw it somewhere for hurricane victims. I just didn't catch the location. So.
No, I haven't heard of that, but we have FEMA on standby right now. They have a number of individual homes they're going to bring in, but we have not finished. So the DRC individual assessments is complete. Now the DRC, which is a whole government thing in the FEMA, they'll start on Sunday, and they will start placing some kind of temporary home on your existing lot, and we've got a couple places where we're going to kind of build, I'm going to say a trailer park for a better word, where we'll place these families part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get, in the future, not too far away, get some bands and food and get these people, once they kind of stabilize, and have some people come together and do a charity event. And, we have just got, here's the thing, is people were talking about President Trump with Puerto Rico. They were talking, obviously in Hurricane Harvey, they were talking about this one. It's never fast enough. The response is never fast enough. But from what I'm hearing from you is you guys were, pretty quick to assemble and get out there and held from a civilian standpoint and local standpoint until the federal government and state government could come in there and help. That's good news. Colonel, the last thing I had for you is I don't want to create any more despair and downtroddenness for you. I think you've been through enough, but what are you going to do when my United States Navy beats the shit out of Army?
How long has that been since that happened?
I don't know, sir, but I just figured I'd go ahead and say it just because it sounded cool. I don't believe it because Army's got one hell of a team, but the game's always fun, isn't it?
It is. I've never been to an Army Navy game. I'm a ROTC guy, bring the gold, enlisted the officer. So, I love my West Point brethren, but, ROTC. So I'm a University of South Carolina grad, University of Florida. But I'm in North Carolina. I bleed blue, brother.
Well, how about this? I have a few connections here in this area, and I'm pretty confident I can get us tickets, depending upon where the game is. I don't remember. It's not in Annapolis this year, is it?
I guess it
We'll figure it out when you get settled. Even probably next year. It's probably a little crazy right now.
Every other, right?
I would love to take you to a game, and I'm pretty confident we can go together, and I'll humbly accept your team kicking the crap out of Navy. So let's stay in touch, and you're welcome on the show anytime. And I wanted to thank you and Jeff for being here, Colonel. It means the world to us, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you so
Hey,
much.
guys,
Thank you, Colonel.
thank you. Hey,
I'll want to say one thing just before everybody gets off the line here. Thank you, Matt, for allowing us to use your platform for Rodney to talk. I'm very proud of him as being my brother, and I know he shoots it straight like you do. And I appreciate y'all's prayers and everything moving forward. It's been a blessing.
Yeah, I've done some interviews, and I've been doing this a while, and I think everyone on the panel speaks. That's the most important conversation we've had on this show, and we've had some pretty cool people on here. It's to me. We want you guys to come back, give us an update. We don't want to forget about this. That's the problem, is that everyone seems to move on to the next tragedy. So, Colonel, I'm not kidding. If there's anything I can do, we speak to 200,000 people. I speak to 3 million people a month. If there's something that I can do, please let me know, and don't even think twice about asking, okay?
Yeah, and I want to make sure that everybody understands. So we're one of 4 counties that I'm familiar with here, but our sister counties of Yancey and Mitchell and Buncombe, they took it much harder than we did. We took a hard punch, but we're looking at Yancey County, the neighborhood right beside of me. They probably won't get schools back in session until probably January, February. They've turned their schools into donation centers where the first classroom is personal hygiene products, the second classroom is cleaning products, the third classroom is food, and the residents are taking grocery carts and shopping. That's the shape they're in. So, I want to make sure that we understand that this is more than one county. It's a Western North Carolina problem.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of love for you and your crew out there. So we're going to say some prayers for you. The entire chat is just expressing their warmest wishes and thank yous for your service. And it's good to talk to a brother in arms. Thank you, sir. May God be with you.
One more question. Is your home okay?
Oh, it's a good question.
Yes, ma'am. We live up on a mountain, so we can see down. But now, as soon as you get off the mountain, about a half mile away, the day of the storm, the day after the storm, roads were blocked. And it's our river road, and we've still got large communities, large swaths of Western North Carolina without power, without water. And as funny as it may be without internet, but right now, if you don't have internet, you're totally disconnected. Landlines are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole green energy is wonderful and nice, but I made a post that was, people aren't looking for electric cars right now. They're not looking for solar panels. They're not looking for smart homes. They're looking for gas. They're looking for energy.
Yep.
They're looking for warmth in other ways. And there's a reason why some of this stuff's been around for 200 years, and it's worked in these mountains. And it's amazing when you take some people who are salt of the earth and they have to step up, that they would be fine. But we saw this in Houston. The survival skills of people were just non-existent. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know that their toilets had fresh water in it. Even though that's disgusting to some people, it doesn't matter, man, when you're thirsty, and they just didn't know what to do to how to survive. I'm sure the North Carolina population has been through hardships, and they understand that. They're country boys and girls. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, I like to say we're workhorses, not show horses around here.
Yeah, well, that's why listen, I'm a California boy who got all that city luster off me pretty quick and went to Texas and now Virginia. So I'd like to go ahead and shed that skin. So, but anyway.
Hey, Matt, hey, God bless you guys. It was great talking with you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Jeff, thanks again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Wow. That's cool. What do you guys think of that? Huh?
It was great.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh,
It's easy to move on to the next disaster, especially when the news is always in your face. There's something called availability bias, but we have to remember that something like that just happened, and there are people who are still struggling. Oh,
yeah. Well, it's good to hear, like, that's why I always I try to wait, and I try to, get firsthand accounts and to hear the colonel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a man, lifelong service. I will trust him over any news agency. Although that is one of the largest places in North Carolina, he's absolutely right. There's other places that were hit that need that help. But it's good to hear a good story coming out of North Carolina and other states versus the ones we've been hearing in the back channels on the internet, for sure.
Yeah. I agree with you guys. Let's not forget them. With the holidays coming up, there's so many families and children, and just let's keep giving what we can to them. I mean,
yeah. Well,
really sad.
I got his number. I'm going to put him in touch with Scott Davidson. He's principal of GCO, and it's a very lucrative company. And we'll see if we can get some of these veteran companies to start pitching in and seeing what they can do. Because it's amazing, and they have budgets for this. Just people don't ask. And especially the people who need it the most just don't ask that question. So we'll see if we can put it together. What a great call! I wasn't expecting that, Jeff. Thank you so much. It's so good to have you as a listener. That's what we want. We want that type of interaction. Folks, tonight we're just going to go ahead and give the donations to North Carolina. We've already donated, but whatever we make tonight will go to North Carolina, and we will make sure it'll go to a good charity, Team Rubicon, or we'll just call the colonel and see what they can do and just cut him a check, and he can go ahead, and he knows where the best place to put that money. But whatever we make tonight is going to go to that crew. So if you'd like to donate, thedumshow.com/donate, let us know. I'll see if Team Rubicon's in Asheville, because that is just money well spent. They are one of the greatest organizations out there. They are fantastic. But either way, let us know what you can do. Going back to this directive, this DOD directive, I don't think the United States government wants to kill its citizens. I don't believe that. There's easier ways to do it. And this
I would agree.
This leaves an extensive paper trail. What I do believe is that the government can never have a January 6th again. Let me explain from the things that I heard. And this is from people who are actually state legislators, 2 different state legislators, a senator, Secret Service, Capitol Police. These are people who are on the ground during J6. This shook them to the core. And not just the individuals, but the institution of government. The United States is kind of like a beacon of light, even for the ones who hate us. The ones who hate us aspire to destroy us, but the ones who are considered to be leaders in a global sense look to the United States as the example of what they aspire to be. No matter if they find us arrogant or uneducated Americans, that's not the point. They want economically and militarily and judicially to be what the United States is, without all the baggage, without the crime, without the prostitution and drug use and all these other things. But that's what you get with freedom. If we fail and the United States has a coup d'etat or an overthrow of the government or anything that's even perceived to be that, it would be absolutely devastating and create a sentiment of open season on the U.S. So for the United States government and for those, and I'm just telling you from the politician's perspective, this may not be your perspective or even my perspective, but this is the mentality in Washington, is that they flew way too close to the sun on many different occasions, from the budget, from overreach, from political action committees, from scandals, and now to have the people, they are on the precipice of losing control of their constituents. And that is a terrifying thing, Republican, Democrat, and everyone in between. I believe that this order and this declaration, executive order, is a clear and present message to destroy or quash, thank you, Amy, any type of uprising that they deem would be worse than January 6th. That's the feeling that I get. I'd love to get it for the panel, and you guys tell me what your thoughts. Am I overreacting? Is this crazy? What do I think? Or what do you think? Sorry.
Yeah, let the girls go first.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Keith. Well, you guys are amazing. I actually, I think I mentioned it earlier, when I saw this initially, I thought I was like, whatever, not a real thing. But then when Leeroy was like, no, we should guys see this, I'm like, oh, I guess it is real. I immediately thought January 6th. And, it was, didn't the Babylon Bee just make a movie called like The Most Deadliest Day in America, which is January 6th? It was obviously a satire.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
Because to a lot of people, January 6th was the most traumatic event or day of their entire lives. And that's taking it into account that they were alive for September 11th, as I was. And thank you, Frank. Well, you guys are amazing.
Thank you, Frank.
And I think it was just traumatic. And we live in an era where our feelings are so important, and it's just a trauma that we need to prevent from happening again, because we cannot deal with unrest.
Suzanne, thank you so much. Amy, wonderful points. I'm sorry, contributions are just flying in, which is amazing. Jeff, do me a favor, reach out to Melanie. She said that she's going to send up a building crew from Louisiana, and they want to give contacts. So Jeff, please reach out to Melanie if you would do that for me. If he's not on, we'll have to get Jeff on there. I want to thank everybody for the donations. We'll figure out everything and we'll take care of it. That's what we do. So we appreciate you so much. I think we've covered this. Leeroy, go ahead, button us up, take us home, and see what we didn't get, and bring us home.
Well, it's not, I think we covered all the bases. I think that there's a huge amount of legal ambiguity right now that's going to apply to both sides, both to law enforcement, to the Americans that might be affected, and to the military. If you are in the military and you are reading this and have some level of an oh shit factor, my biggest advice would be to remain calm and to use your best judgment. But if things seem even remotely like sketchy, do not partake, right? And finally, and this is my final view on this, and I tend to do this a lot, and I know Matt does too. Maybe this headline came out a little bit fast and we haven't really had enough time to put this level of analysis to it yet, but I tend to view everything from the founding fathers' perspective. How would they have felt about this? And this is one of those, in my humble opinion, clear cases where they would have seen this. Thank you, Glenn.
Oh, thanks, Glenn.
they would have
Thank you,
seen
Glenn.
this and they would have said, no way. There would have been a clear line drawn in the sand that says there is no way you are going to use delegated military and or local authority power to delegate to the military. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah.
To potentially inflict lethal force on American citizens. There's just no way. And so that's the lens that I tend to view this through. So I'm a little worried. Not going to lie.
Yeah, it's concerning because you and I've seen this in other countries. That's why we're worried. It's not, we were deployed and we were stationed in areas where we saw these things take place. We saw governments topple. We saw communism come in and socialism come in, and totalitarian rule and dictators and alter countries from that were once free and turned it into a nightmare. Do I think they're going to use this against Trump? That's not what I think. I think what they're doing is giving themselves a quick reaction force that can, with lethality, put down any uprising, because they're not going to take over the federal government. But if you believe that they can't take over a city like Chaz Chop did, if you think they can't take over a town, what I believe is the state government is saying, if we do not have the infrastructure, we do not have the supply side, we do not have the bodies, we don't have the ability to stop someone taking over our city or town hall. We don't have somebody who can defend a 50,000 person town if our city decides to turn over an uprising. This is civil. This is an executive action for civil unrest. You just need to understand that. I believe the government truly 100% believes that no matter what happens in this election, that we are going to have civil unrest. That is what something like this is for. This should concern everybody. And I will just tell you, there's going to be three types of people. The first type is going to take political focus on choosing a side. The second group of people are going to stay completely out of it and have no desire to get involved because of their ignorance. And the third are the people who do not give a shit about left and right, who do not give a shit about politics, who do not give a shit about color or socioeconomic status. And those are the people you need to fear, because they are the quiet professionals. And those are the people who are going to look out for God, country, and their fellow neighbor. This is a dangerous situation. And I would strongly recommend that whatever is running through your head, if you believe that you're going to create some type of revolt, I'm warning you that we are not in a place where that is going to be deemed necessary for most of the country. And you are going to lose. And you're going to lose bad. Because we are not Venezuela. We don't have 80% of our population who eats every 3 days. Okay? That is when you start something, you're going to fire off a movement. The only thing you're going to do is get your ass killed. So am I asking you to sit back and not do anything? And no, be active. Protest, have a voice, vote, do all the things you normally do. Go to your city council, resist in that aspect. But to pick up a weapon and create civil unrest is idiotic. You don't have supply, you don't have logistics. You're like the 6-year-old who packs 2 bologna and cheese sandwiches and runs away from home. You'll be back in 3 hours. It's very similar to that. So the government is not fucking around. They are not going to allow another J6. Either are the states and the cities. They don't want Chaz Chop. They don't want Antifa. They don't want Proud Boys. They don't want alt-right. And if you guys continue down this course, you're going to wind up dead. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody else?
No, I think we pretty well covered that one.
Yep.
All right. I'm glad we did that. It was important to me. It's something that it was important to me. I want to play a video. Let's segue. I want to thank you everyone for the donations. That was a great call from the Colonel, man. Wasn't that awesome?
It was.
That was amazing.
It was.
I want to show you a video. What's that, Ames?
I was saying, I hope he calls back and checks in with us. Keep us updated on how things are progressing.
Oh, he will. When Army loses, he'll call. So he seems like a stand-up guy. Stevie Wonder has Wonderigas. Sorry, Stevie Wonderigas called. This is a video from. Does anyone know who this is?
No.
You know, Liv. Come on, he was in Man
Is
on
it
Fire.
Iglesias?
Oh, it's
Did he
Jennifer
recently cross the border?
Lopez's ex.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
He
It's
did.
not Enrique Iglesias. It's
Come on,
That's what I said Iglesias, but I don't know who.
come on.
Oh, is it the one guy
Yes,
and his son is a singer now too,
Mark
right? I forget his
Anthony.
name.
Mark
Yes.
Mark
Anthony. That's it.
Anthony. There we go.
Yeah, it's not. Would you be my hero, baby? Would you
I don't
take
know.
away my
It's
tears?
Jennifer Lopez's ex.
I want to take your breath away.
Isn't it really sad that you're known as Jennifer Lopez's ex as
Yeah.
opposed to your real
Yeah,
name?
make some good movies. But
And
but
it
a
looks
piece
like
of-
he's
Hence
trying
the
to make
music.
something of himself. If you look, he's got neck tattoos, which makes me wonder where he's been hanging out.
yeah, well, the glasses.
Prison.
But let's watch this video. And I've
I'm
got
not stereotyping.
prison.
I'm not stereotyping. I'm just like-
I love it. You're so racist. I've got
I am.
a piece of paper. I've got a piece of paper here with some rebuttals, and I want to get everybody's reaction. But you know what? I need to say this, and we've got a shit ton of people on. So this must be a good show. 221, just from what I see, and that's not even Wimkin. That's not even Rumble. High channels
Rumble's
are
80.
124 on Twitter. Twitter is just killing it lately. They are just becoming our strongest channel. Very exciting. Let's do this. Let's listen to this.
I remember what he did and he said about Puerto Rico, about our people. I remember after Hurricane Maria devastated our island, Trump blocked billions in relief while thousands died. I remember when our families lacked clean water and electricity, Trump threw paper towels and called Puerto Rico dirty and poor. I was not surprised because I also remember that he launched his campaign by calling Latinos criminals and rapists. He told us what he'll do. He'll separate children from their families and threaten to use the army to do it. This election goes way beyond political parties. Let's remember what the United States represents and stands for. United, regardless of where we're from. I am Mark Anthony and I remember. That's why I support Kamala Harris for president.
I'm Kamala Harris and I approve this message.
All right. What do y'all think? Opinions aplenty. I'm in a mood to let everyone else have their conversation. So go for it.
I don't know if Mark Anthony knows that Kamala Harris was raised in a middle class family, but I just think this is important. One, I can't take him seriously in this message, and the sunglasses are killing me. I'm sorry, but if you're trying to be professional and speak to people, then you might want to try to at least make some kind of eye contact with them and relate to them on a human level, and not I'm a celebrity and I'm better than you and I can't take my sunglasses off. Second,
Yeah, or I look like I'm in the Kali, or I look like I'm in the Kali cartel, right? That's another.
Right.
Seriously.
The thing that bothered me the most, though, and I'll end on this, is that we have, I don't know what the number is now, but there's thousands of children missing right now because of Kamala Harris and the administration. Where are those kids? And a lot of them are
375,000.
Hispanics. Yeah. And there are a lot of Hispanic kids. So where are those kids? Why don't they matter to you? I'm just over it. Sorry.
That's
Okay,
really.
I digress.
No, you did not digress. 300 and some odd thousand missing
it's a lot.
kids under the Obama administration, and I wonder where they're going. I remember too. I remember what Donald Trump did. And yes, I understand he threw paper towels. Yes. I understand that frustrates you. Kamala Harris went on a food line and put together like 4 paper sacks. Okay. These people don't work for a living, and either does Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a blue collar worker. He is barely white collar. He is gold collar. But I have no doubt if I was going to ask for a push-up contest, I think Donald Trump could beat Kamala. If I was going to ask how to install a plumbing main, I'm pretty sure he would understand. If I was going to ask how to build a skating rink in less than 2 months, that took the state of New York 11 and a half years. For free, I'm pretty sure that he understood that brine cooling is better than just about any other process, and figured it out. But here's what I do know: Hurricane Maria's response He had FEMA personnel on scene, aided recovery efforts, military assistance, distribution of supplies and food, federal disaster aid. He signed a disaster relief package aimed at helping Puerto Rico, included earthquake coverage as well and other natural disasters. Largest of these packages included billions of dollars in aid for rebuilding infrastructure, power grids, and housing. Waived the Jones Act temporarily to Hurricane Maria. Rebuilding the power grid, committed to that. $13 billion aid for electrical and educational infrastructure. Puerto Rico Oversight Management and Economic Stability Act, PROMESA, was passed by Trump. Emergency aid after additional earthquakes in 2020. Increased food stamp funding and housing and urban development HUD grants for Puerto Rico, which are still being utilized today. That's what he did. And it's never fast enough. And it would never be good enough. It wouldn't matter if he was shitting out golden nuggets from his ass and tossing them to the people like Robin Hood. You still wouldn't fucking care. So let's stop pretending, Cali Cartel, Rodriguez, Roberto, whatever the fuck your name is, Longo.
Well, how can we believe him? He had his own daughter kidnapped. You know, I mean, how?
That's right. Denzel Washington had.
I mean, how? I mean,
you took it.
I was just going to say, you did. It's hard to take someone like that seriously when they come on with their Armani glasses and their $3,000 jacket with their neck tattoos. It's hard to listen to the messaging when your biggest contention, right, is the fact that, you know, Donald Trump says that all Latinos are child trafficking rapists. You know, that being said, I might have steered clear from a movie where you participated in supporting that stereotype.
Yeah,
I might have steered clear from putting out a message that puts down people in the Latino community saying, hey, maybe you guys are, in fact, child trafficking, rapist, drug using.
And then you took the coward's way out, you pussy. You pussy ate a bullet because you couldn't stand your decision you made, you jerk.
he looks really good for taking a bullet, you know.
Well, he doesn't look better than...
Smelling salts worked really well.
He doesn't look better than a current Iranian terrorist who took a fucking round to the head from an Israeli sniper. You see Twitter is just like, Allah, he's a hero. I'm like, he didn't die like a hero. He died like a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw some of the video, and I saw the drone creep in. I saw him throw the stick, and then I saw the other video, which was only on the internet for about 5 minutes, which shows the Israeli sniper shot. Homeboy did not look good at the end of it. I'll tell you that. And you know what? May you enjoy your virgins. This next video. Listen, can one of you jackasses from the left interview me? What?
I have a question. You said no. I have a question about the whole virgin thing. They're supposed to have virgins, like 7 virgins or whatever.
No, like 47 virgins.
Okay, 47.
51.
Well,
it depends. Okay, stop. If we're going to keep it accurate, it's based upon how cataclysmic the event you did was. But I think it's 70 something is the basic, but then they promise them other virgins and promise them higher riches, and the humans do, and expand on what the Quran says. So it's like, you'll most definitely get your 71, but we will add an additional 50 if you decide to kill 20 more people.
I was just curious because, you know, after they have sex the first time, they're not a virgin anymore. So they kind of have to toss that one aside. So, you know, they don't have a lifetime of virgins, but... Just, you know.
Well, in that's really good, but in Allah, he recycles those virgins, and they use clone technology they gained from the United States to replace Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton to create new virgins for him that look exactly the same, and they're not lizards.
With DARPA funded. Yeah,
they're Elon Musk's new robots. That's what they are.
Yeah, they use HARP to go ahead and use Jewish space lasers to re-sew their hymen in place.
Yes.
So Jewish space lasers. And then while they're having sex, like, those Jews are good for something, you know?
I think that they actually get Jewish virgins too, just for like extra level of like an FU.
Sure. And it's like, we don't like you, but you are kind of hot. I mean, if they all look like Gal Gadot, we can get past our hatred for a few hours. Listen,
totally
if you're a Muslim terrorist and we're offending you, we don't give a fuck. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Hit our house
the
first.
afterlife, the only thing that was made available for them to eat was bacon. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, that's funny too. Yeah.
And then when they turn on the shower, it's like bacon grease comes out. I love it. I love it. And make sure that their Egyptian cotton is like 99.8% pure. You just take out 0.2% and put some polyester in there and be like, fuck you.
Made by the Jews. Yep.
Made by the Jews. If you can't tell, we're pro-Israel here. So if you're not, we don't really care. Yeah, we're a bunch of Zionists. Yeah, that's right. We're a part of the military-industrial complex of that's us. No, we're just a bunch of white people who are sitting in the middle of fucking nowhere who believe that terrorists suck. Okay? You guys are pussies.
Terrorists do suck.
Moving on. Here's a video, like I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted with great humor. Why do these guys interview Trump supporters that are either shit-faced or just don't know anything? Here's the problem. There's plenty of people that go out and do these videos, and I despise all of them because you're not showing the one where you interviewed a guy like me who would just eat you for lunch. Right. I would embarrass you 17 ways to Sunday, and I would just literally wrap that mic around your throat proverbially. But a problem is that you find no offense, the Trump supporter who doesn't know what they're talking about, who can't go ahead and write a list. So let's watch this, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to scramble this stuff off, and then we can have a conversation about it. Here it is.
What got you excited to come to the Trump rally today?
He's a good man. I love him. We need him. He saved the country.
You love him?
Yeah, I think he's a good man. What do you think?
Why? When did you decide he was such?
No, I'm not going to answer your question. You didn't answer my question. Fuck you. What do you think?
He's a good man.
2016. I liked his words, and I like he did everything he said he was going to do, and he did it.
What are some of those things that he said and then he did? Just one thing. One thing he said and then he did.
He caught me off guard there.
47%.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. So let's do it quick. Tax Cuts, Jobs Acts of 2017, deregulation, roll back numerous federal regulations, judicial appointments, and also federal, over 200 federal judges and 3 Supreme Court nominees, criminal justice reform, U.S., Mexico, Canada, USMCA in place of NAFTA from Bill fucking Clinton, rebuilt the military, ISIS defeat and the caliphate completely destroyed. This is just me writing this shit down. We can do this all day. Veteran affairs reform, energy independence, COVID-19 vaccine development, whether you like it or not. He did institute Operation Warp Speed. He did also remove federal regulations on testing for experimental drugs to get people whatever help they needed, and removed those restrictions. Lowered drug prices that they went ahead and let expire and then re-labeled for the Joe Biden experiment. Prison reform, tariffs on China, which actually is going to understand in the long run be better for John Deere, better for DeWalt, better for American-based companies. It stings a little bit in the beginning, but let's be honest. It's a long-term investment. Border security, crackdown on sanctuary cities, Space Force creation. Yeah, just created an entire branch of military, which is necessary, by the way, because literally, 9 months later, hypersonic missiles were released to the world. Right-to-left legislation, NATO burden sharing, withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement, renegotiated trade deals, moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, those shifty Jews. Historic peace deals, prisoner release from North Korea, economic, and ones that were under the water. My good friend was in Saipan and actually went and did that, Force Recon Marine. I'm almost done, Leeroy. And went ahead and did a diving mission and brought back remains of American sailors who were under the water. Yeah, my good friend Will Fisher did that. Will's got to come on one day and talk about it. Economic growth pre-COVID, opportunity zones, unemployment pre-COVID, withdrawal from TPP, which is the Trans-Pacific Partnership, eliminated the individual mandate, support for law enforcement, opioid crisis reduction, lowered Black and Hispanic unemployment along with women and every other racial demographic, foster care and adoption deregulation, historic tax reform, relief for farmers. Don't tell me about tax reform because 2021, all the Democrats voted to extend it until 2025. Ended catch and release, and that relief for farmers was a $28 billion necessity for the last 10 years that was not given to them, that the tariffs exposed, but he went ahead and filled those loopholes for those farmers. Religious freedom protections, charter school support, repealed net neutrality, improved trade relations with Japan, negotiated peace with the Taliban, lowered corporate tax rate, support for the Second Amendment, criminal cartel crackdown, sanctions on Iran, expanded domestic manufacturing, sanctions on Russia, air traffic control privatization, middle-class wage growth, combating human trafficking, GNP highest than we've seen in the last 17 years, withdrawal from INF treaty, inflation at an all-time low, and expanded access to telehealth. There's 50 of them. Go fuck yourself.
Lowest gas prices in 10 years, peace in the Middle East. Actually did build the wall.
Started it.
Three that I
started it. He didn't finish the wall, so he did start it though.
This has nothing to do with Scandinavians, Amy. The Finns have nothing to do with this.
Sorry.
So 503 miles restored, and I think it wound up being like 56 miles. But that's what happens when you freeze the DOD money that he had to reappropriate, and all the material was literally liquidated. Folks, that's 50, and that took me about 10 minutes. People have heard me just rattle off the top of my head hundreds. Donald Trump, say what you want, but that guy proposed and got shit done more than any other president. Now, I'm going to also say Joe Biden has got a lot of shit done. Not good for America, but he got a lot of shit done too. There's no doubt. Joe Biden came in and swinging because that's what Obama said to do to him. Go in there and deregulate or destroy everything that Donald Trump did and reinstitute all my executive orders. And he did that. It was just happened to be bad for America. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
No,
I think you pretty well covered that.
Damn Skippy. This one's gonna piss. Amy's not gonna be happy. So no. I mean, you look gorgeous tonight, by the way. Your music or your makeup and you're singing angel songs in my head.
Hayden would be proud you parted your hair in the middle.
I did. I actually thought about her today when I was doing it because I haven't done it in a long time. I was like, I'm gonna wash my hair today, which I don't do very often. And I was like, I'm gonna part it down the middle because Hayden says that's what's cool and in vogue or whatever the kids are using these days. So yeah, and I put on makeup today, so I'm like killing it today on this Friday.
Sure.
I'm gonna wash that gray right out of my hair.
Oh,
you know what? Do you guys remember that? Remember those?
That was a man.
Yeah.
No.
Wash that man right out of my hair, wasn't it?
Yes, but then they did a commercial, Wash That Gray, for like wash and rinse. Hi, this is the Matt and Amy and Olivia and Leeroy and Mel show. What can we do for you?
Oh, hi, Mel.
No, it's not Mel.
You guys.
It's Frank.
It's
Hey,
Frankie. Frankie, what's up, buddy?
Dude, you left out the Abraham Accords.
No, I didn't. No, I said peace in the Middle East. I just didn't. I said peace in the Middle East. I just didn't name all four countries that were involved, and how Joe Biden went ahead and failed. We can even talk about Afghanistan. I mean, we could be here all day.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If going back to the DOD thing, if the military decided not to follow the orders, which they should do, I agree with Leeroy wholeheartedly. Would that not constitute mutiny, and could they not hold them accountable for that?
Right. Yeah.
Just a question. I'm asking for a friend.
Go ahead.
Right. That was actually one of the first points that I had brought up, is that this entire thing is kind of it's got a double-edged sword to it, right? There's a catch-22, because if you don't do it, then I believe that you can be found guilty under UCMJ article, I think it's either 2 or 6, for inability to follow direct order. So doesn't matter if you do or you don't, you're still guilty, which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Frankie,
I
answer your question?
I remember you saying that now.
Frank, did we answer that question for you? Did you have anything else, brother? Because we got a bunch of fun stuff for you tonight. You're gonna love it. We got a whole bunch of good stuff coming.
No, man, I have loved it so far. It's been a great show. I tried to contribute what I could. I'm running a little low on funds, but I did what I could to help. So
never
yeah,
apologize for that,
Didn't mean
Frank.
to tie up your time.
Frank, you are amazing. We love and appreciate you. We've had an amazing month, and you guys have been awesome. So you are a huge part of that. So remember, it's not supposed to be give till it hurts. It's supposed to be give till it feels good. And there are plenty of other places that you can take care of outside of us, and we appreciate you doing that. So thanks, brother.
Yeah, when I heard the Colonel tonight, I just felt like I had to kick in a little bit more.
Yeah, well, trust me, we're going to distribute it to a good place, and we're going to be very transparent as we always do, and we'll find a good institution to give it to, and we will do that Moeki tick. All right?
I know you'll do the right thing. God bless you guys.
Always do, brother. Thanks, man. We appreciate you very, very much. Okay, this is going to piss Amy off.
Great.
Warning. Crazy Catholic is going to get pissed off.
Oh.
Like, it wasn't enough that she shunned the Al Smith dinner, right? She basically just gave the giant finger to all Catholics.
I saw this. Is this the Kamala video?
This is.
I saw this earlier. So yes,
You need to stop watching shit so I can surprise you.
I do.
All right,
I know.
Here it is. No, I like that you're informed. You're very well informed. Always. You always go, oh, I saw that. And so does Leeroy. And
I don't.
I want you guys to use your headphones to really listen to this, okay? And we're going to tell you what this is and discern it for you. But listen.
No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street. With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended.
You cannot hear it. I've got another video. I'll show it to you where it came from. A person, when they started talking about abortion, they said, Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Amy, can you explain to us what the hell that means? No pun intended.
Yeah, good one. If you want to go to heaven and you are a Christian, you know that the only way to get to heaven is through Christ, our King. Jesus died for all of our sins, so the only way is through him.
Jesus is Lord. A very Christian, and Christians are Catholic folks. So I've been scolded.
Well, depends on who you ask.
Yeah, that's right. This is Kamala's reply.
You guys are at the wrong rally.
I'm sorry, Madam Vice President. Can you try that one more time? Maybe it was the Ebonics. I didn't hear you. Try that again.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Uh-oh. You just might have done what Leeroy and I have been asking for a long time, which is to get Christians to show up better than 51%. Lady, you just gave Trump a commercial gold to piss off Christians. All the other thing you should have said is, you guys should just use the gun on yourself. You should have said it. I wish you would have, because then gun owners would have come out. Well, let's listen to the rest, and then I'm going to bring a lady who cut this down for us who was actually there.
You meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
All right.
Smaller one?
Yeah.
Wow. Picking on religion.
Sure.
Nice.
Apparently she can't count either because usually Trump's rallies are pretty big.
That's funny that you say that.
This is the lady. This lady I saw earlier, and I was like, this needs to go viral. I had the same thought. I'm like, this lady, and she can back everything up. She went to both rallies. Like, I just love her. I don't know who she is, but she's amazing. Love her.
Well, I will tell you that she does not have an accredited tag. I will find out, and I will do what I always do, which is give her
about
credit,
how sad I was that the
what she did. If I see a TikTok tag on her video, I will tell you. I don't see it, but I know the dummies will find it for me, and we will make sure we give her credit because I love it. Let me just say, Kamala should understand the difference in the size of penises because she's obviously seen enough of them, as she has stepped on each one of them to get where she is at. Here is the video.
So a few weeks ago, I attended the Trump rally here in my town. Before I dive into what I'm about to share, here's a peek at that. Well, today I found out that Kamala Harris was coming to my town, so I decided to go. I wanted to see the differences. Notably, I had to show my ID to get in to see her. But anyway, I was making a video talking actually about how sad I was that the loudest cheering at the rather small event came in support of abortion when I panned over to the crowd and to her speaking, and I caught something I wasn't expecting. Check it out. Not a lot of energy here, but everyone just cheered and screamed for killing babies. So that was disappointing. Anyway, here she is.
Did you hear it? Jesus is Lord.
Yep. Did you hear that? Some guy in the crowd shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And Kamala said, "I think you're at the wrong rally." And then she said, "Try the smaller one down the street." Everyone laughed and laughed and cheered, but I was at that rally. There were almost 7,000 people at it. Today they said there were 2,500. Nobody waiting. Open spaces. I wanted everyone who's a believer to hear that for themselves.
Again, we're not going to be gaslighted on this. We remember Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
I just want to say thank you to our 158 people on Twitter watching, crushing Twitter. We love you. We appreciate you. Elon has done something to my page. I'm letting you, I made a video about him and I tagged him, and I got a feeling that he did something. My followers, I lost 400 followers last night. That's impossible. It just doesn't happen. There's nothing that I posted that was controversial. And then they came back about 90 less today. And I don't know, but something tells me something happened, because there's no reason. But we have been blowing up on Twitter ever since I posted that video. So whatever restriction was there, something happened. But we have more people on Twitter than Facebook, which is ridiculous. We're about ready to hit 200,000, and we've got 77 people on Facebook. And we love you. We love our Facebook people. Don't leave. But to see 156 on Twitter, that means the world to me. And I know it means a ton to everybody here. 160 now to Olivia, Leeroy,
awesome.
and Amy.
So
let me finish playing this real quick. Oh, and Mel's today is one of our just, she is driving and posting every single time we're live. And she's going to all the big channels and saying, go watch this show, go watch this show. For those people who are watching it for the first time, please follow us so you can watch us tomorrow or Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and get a notification. If you're on Twitter, you guys got to remember to follow us. I'll follow you back. Follow me, I'll follow you. But let's crush this thing, man. If we can start making this on Twitter, I'll leave Facebook. Fuck Facebook. I will stay with Twitter. All right? By the way, the crowd she shows a picture later in the video, which I don't need to get to it, of Donald Trump's rally, and it's packed. And it's 10 times bigger than Kamala Harris. I'm going to give it to Amy, since she knows God personally. And she's going to tell us everything that we should know about this. Go ahead, Ames.
I can go last too. I know Liv wanted to say something, but yeah, I mean, if you want me to go, Liv, do you want to go?
Sure, I'll go real quick.
Okay, I got to say something. Michael Gillespie also shares on Twitter. There's a group of people who always share on Twitter, and I don't want to forget anybody. I'm trying to spread the love. Everybody helps. And that's what is making this show so big. I mean, the fact it's a Friday night and we've got 263 people on, that's amazing. So we've been waiting for this. We love this. So thank you so much. All right. Who wants to go first?
I can go real quick.
All right, go for it.
I was taught, and we've taught our children to always respect the office of the president and the vice president. And no matter who is in, left or right, Republican or Democrat, you respect them because it's the office, not the person. Kamala is a bitch. I have no respect for her. Period. I have none. Honestly, she has climbed above Hillary on my list at this point. And I don't like Hillary at all. And what she's doing is she knows her honeymoon period is over. She knows she's dropping in the polls. So she's trying to be funny with the quick one-liners like Trump does at his rallies where he responds to people in the audience. And she's trying to do it, and they're not funny. They're completely disrespectful. And she's also trying to gauge younger first-time voters, 18, 19, 20, who this is a huge deal to. So she's trying to grasp onto those people right now.
Yeah, that's you know what? I've got something to support it. Hold on. I want to show you how right you are because I've got a 15-second video that's going to absolutely show you what you just said is correct. I love that you brought up Hillary. Liv, I couldn't have asked for a better segue than what you just did. In fact, we didn't talk about this because you were hitting deer.
I'm sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump. It's time for us to say no. We are not going backwards. We're for the next 7 days. We focus on what's important. Don't get distracted. Don't get diverted. Focus on the kind of country and world that we want to help create.
That was just too much in one video to hear them both just in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a little bit too much cackle kind of combined for my ears to process, and I feel like I'm bleeding now.
Olivia, go ahead. Finish your thought, Liv. Finish your thought.
Ever a moment I wish I was deaf. That was it right there.
Finish your thought, honey.
I was going to say that video I showed you the other day. Did you get that to put it on?
Which one? Honey, do you know how many videos I get a day?
The one I showed you, I think last night, about somebody, I don't even know where it was, the two girls who were talking about they've had abortions and they're afraid Trump's going to...
You sent it to me, right?
I thought I did. If not, I will.
It's on Olivia Spear, yeah?
Yes. If you're not, I'll send it to you right now.
Okay.
Because it's the funniest thing.
Why don't you do me a favor? Send it to me and we'll put it in another segment because it doesn't work on this segment.
Okay. Well, we'll do it on Monday or something.
Who else wants to take this? No, we'll do it tonight. We're just going to finish the segment.
Got it. Let me
Who else?
find it.
Who else? Come on. Somebody's got something to say.
All right. So real quick. There are roughly 82,800,000 Catholics in the United States and another 7.5 million Jews. If there was ever a way to piss off every one of them, would be to belittle what the thing you said you don't do in the Brett Baier interview, that thing you said you don't do. If there's ever a way to galvanize them and get them to go to the polls, that might be it. So to Matt's point, you may have just done that. You have to be a special kind of stupid to actually go out of your way to alienate the very people that could win you the election.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
She's not, because she can't.
Hold on. Go ahead, Ames.
Totally agree. I'm actually
and for
really
Black
looking
America,
forward to Father Gould's weekly newsletter from the church this week to see if this is mentioned, because he does remind us, like, hey, we are combating evil. And I'm not saying everyone who's supporting her is evil, but she truly is, I don't know if she's demonic or possessed by, I don't know, but like she is an evil person. Just the fact that she celebrates killing babies is inherently evil. And then to just completely dismiss literally, I mean, I know that they say that religion is dying in our country, but there's actually a huge revival amongst young people who are college age. And I think we saw this even with where you are, Leeroy, in Ohio. There's been a huge people on college campuses getting baptized, accepting Jesus as their Lord and Savior. It's making a comeback. Thank the Lord. And I think she's really doing a disservice. I hope this is shared to every single person, even if you don't feel that you're saved by Jesus, you're not super religious. I think most people do respect Jesus Christ as a real person and that he did a tremendous amount of good, even if you don't follow him. I think it's horrible to say that you're at the wrong rally. That's just completely dismissive, and I hope it's just shared out and vote accordingly, people.
Psycho check, psychos!
I think that's fair enough. Folks, there's the numbers: 175 on Twitter, 23 on YouTube. Need some love on YouTube, and then 77 on Facebook. It's ridiculous. We will never eclipse 77 on Facebook. That's what it always is. It's never more. It's never less. It's the people who watch the show religiously, and it's not being shown to anyone. Facebook is. I've already told everyone we're leaving Facebook. So as soon as the first of the year, we're doing the election. We're going to cover January 1st. We're done. Linda, thank you so much for your donation. We're leaving. We're done with Facebook. I'll still post their memes. I'll post my videos, but we're done with live. Until they fix this shit, I'm done. I'm done driving traffic to their site. And you know what? We'll talk. Everyone will be covered, but we got it. We have to send a statement, and we're going to. Here's a video. Because you just lost the Catholics, and you're still continuing to lose blacks, and here's why. Everyone watch this shit.
You don't want her to win the White House, but do you agree with how she performed in that interview?
I believe that interview was a masterclass in why there is a statistically significant amount of black men who are tired of listening to the media and done entertaining the Democratic Party. You listen to Kamala Harris talk about a plan for Black America. They've rolled out a plan for.
All right, everyone relax. Okay, I'm mad. So I will get better. Give me a chance to be frustrated, and then we will figure out what needs to be done with Twitter, okay? I'm not leaving Twitter today.
The lines.
Yeah, I'm not leaving today, but we are sick and tired of them giving us nothing. Nothing. We know they're playing ads on our video. We know they're hurting us. It's not fair. They took $15,000 a month from us for no reason. None. And we never asked for a donation. People know. I had people call, can we give you $10,000? No, I don't want your money. I don't want you. And we were fine. For 3.5 years, Amy will tell you, Leeroy will tell you, Olivia, we never took a donation. Not once. I never took $1 from viewers, except for T-shirts and stuff. But that's an exchange of goods. We have, for 6 months now, relied on your contributions and the love of this show, and we owe it to you to provide the best quality show we can. And if that means I need to stay on Facebook, I'll stay on Facebook. But you have to understand what they're doing to us. And if they're doing it to us, they're doing it to other shows. It's horrible. Now, everyone relax. I'm not leaving Facebook. I see your messages, okay? That was not a popular thing to say. Let's watch the video, okay? Good? Good.
Black America, my grandfather told me a very long time ago, never trust a man who promises to do tomorrow what they had the power to do yesterday. If Kamala Harris was so committed to these plans for black men in particular, she's had many instances where she could have done these things as a senator, as an attorney general, and certainly in her capacity as a vice president. So I do believe that when you have that type of interview, talking about a multi-trillion-dollar plan for reparations, all while we ignore the fact that California has already studied reparations, only for the Democrats that said they were committed to passing it, to saying they're one actually going to write the check. Black men are tired of what appears to be empty promises coming from a Democratic Party.
I mean, Joe, if you're honest with yourself, I'm sure there's some times where you would appreciate if your candidate would be more quote unquote scripted.
Look, I think there's a few things happening here, right? I've said it many times on this network. Vice President Kamala Harris. She wants to have her Kate and Edith too. She wants to have all the good things that come from the Biden administration. She wants to leave all the baggage of the Biden administration behind her. I think if you're just looking at the core issues pertaining to the black community, the civil rights issue of our time is education. Democrats have nominated a woman who is against school choice. They have a vice presidential candidate who is against school choice. And you have the gatekeeper for a large voter bloc that didn't ask any real questions about the civil rights issue of our time. To say that we have schools where 80% of black children cannot read at proficient levels all across this country. And so it is a scourge that is preventing black men from getting.
Everyone, please leave Susie Love alone.
I've already asked.
She is a longtime listener and someone we adore, and she has every right to have an opinion. Leave her alone, please. Just leave her alone. Let her write whatever she wants. And if you want to have a conversation with her, send her a private message. She has every right to say whatever she wants. Let's leave her alone, okay? Please? Please.
The tools they need in their young life to move forward. And I think if there are a lot of black people who are saying Democrats have told us that Donald Trump is terrible, but I'm not going to allow my vote to be taken hostage by a party that continues to not deliver results every time I place my trust in their hands.
He did have a record low for black unemployment.
I would
but
just
go ahead,
simply
Joe.
say that to that point, right? I think we have to dispense with some of the talking points here. Certainly, there is a fair way to interpret it and to interpret facts, irrespective of whether you're a Republican or Democrat. The fact remains, pre-COVID, we had 7 million new jobs created. We had record low unemployment for black Americans. And I think even if you move beyond, all the conjecture, when you look at what black men are really moved by, they're moved by the fact that the Democratic Party is not actually treating them fairly. That you had the only black Republican man in the Senate who ran for president being called the equivalent of a slave that Harriet Tubman should have left behind. And no one lost their job and not a single person was fired. And so I appreciate that Sherwin says that it's good to live in America where black men can voice their opinion independent of somebody telling them how to do so. But it is quite clear that from many people on the cable news that they have been given license to talk crazy and out of their neck about black men who are not interested in voting for Kamala Harris. And I think, unfortunately, for not just the Democratic Party, but America, those chickens might come home to roost on November 4th.
All right, Joe, you don't.
She was trying to get him to shut up at the end.
Oh, yeah, because that is, quickly, this is why I did the show about the Democratic Party being as racist as they were when they found the KKK or Jim Crow laws, or the Tuskegee experiments or eugenics or Japanese internment camps or the Great Society or Manifest Destiny. And they don't want an educated black man.
No.
They want a house N-word. They want a house N-word. And that's what they want. I know I'm not going to say it. And if that makes me weak, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to say it. But everyone knows what I'm talking about. They want someone who is going to be a slave to the party, vote for the party, and put the party first, no matter what detriment it is, and shut up and take your handout, take your marijuana that they want to give you, take your $20,000 they want to give you, take your cryptocurrency protection, and shut the fuck up. And this black man just disassembled the media in 3 minutes and 22 seconds like no other. And that man should run for office because I would vote for him tomorrow. Okay, it's open to everybody. Go ahead. Go.
Go ahead, Leeroy.
Leviticus 19:15. Do not pervert justice and do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly. Now, when I got done listening to Kamala give her bullshit speech up on that stage, one of the common messages that I always get from her are make the wealthy pay more. We don't like the wealthy. And, we think that the poor are victims. And so we're going to do what we can to pander to the poor. That's why she's telling those people in the audience, you're at the wrong house, because I don't know what the Bible is and I don't understand it. And I don't understand Leviticus 19:15, which is why I'm doing everything ass backwards from what the Bible says with regard to how the party treats the public.
Yep.
If I could give and if I could give 200,000 followers to Damani Felder right now and hand them over and he could speak with my voice, I would give them to him. Because Damani has the experience to revolutionize African Americans. I don't. He has the experiential learning. He has the systemic learning. And I may inspire white people, but white people are already inspired. He has the ability to reach. He should have 2 million followers. He is one of the most intelligent, articulate human beings. He's clean too, which is really exciting. A clean black man.
Is clean?
And to me, that
Fun
is
by the way, folks.
that. Yeah, of course it's Biden. But you know what? I don't even. No one has ever accused me of being a racist, a homophobe. Nobody ever, except for that's another story. But nobody ever has, because they know it's just fucking impossible. It's the dumbest thing ever. But I would give everything for Damani to have 20 million followers. We need to get him back on the show. Anyone else on this?
I mean, I think Leeroy pointed out a great, Bible verse there. Yes, but the problem is she's not, I really feel like she's like just demonic or something. I don't know, but I do pray for our administration because I want to have a good place to live no matter who's in office. I think just like Joe Biden, I mean, she used to say Joe Biden was racist. Now she's like teetering up. She's supporting him or not. She supports him comparative to Donald Trump, but she still thinks he's a terrible president, according to her.
Right.
But Joe Biden, I mean, the Democrats have always been racist. I mean, they come right out and tell you. And I'm sorry, but Donald Trump has done more for everyone in our country, not just one community over the other. And again, we are not just one population in the United States. We're a melting pot, and we all deserve equal treatment.
If there ever was one person who is a lizard in a human suit, it would totally be Kamala.
That's good.
Totally.
That's good. That's good. That was well done. Cuers, get on that. I haven't heard that. Brian McGuire, I'm gonna read the question, and then I'm gonna tell you where I'm at. I don't know if Leeroy can do different. The Wall Street, I know he can. The thing is he allowed to? The Wall Street Journal published a story yesterday that I saw. It's scary. The article headline is "Mystery Drone Swarmed a Military Base for 17 Days." The Pentagon is stumped. Did you see this, Matt? And how can we allow it to happen? I'm going to tell you, my good friend Michael, who I mention on this show all the time, came to me and asked me the same thing. And these drones were over Langley. And if anyone knows where Langley is, that's CIA. I cannot answer this question for you, and I cannot talk about it. So I did some digging. Yeah. I asked some questions, and I cannot have that conversation with you about it. And I won't. I'm going to hand it over to Leeroy.
I cannot answer a damn thing, but not because I know something that I shouldn't say. I just haven't. I read the headline and I was working on something else and never had the time to properly devote to kind of look into this. So I truly do not know anything other than the headline.
Yeah. My comment is simply that whether I know anything or not is immaterial. I have been told to seek other questions elsewhere. Like every single person that I spoke to said, this is not a conversation that I can have with you, and you shouldn't be having this conversation as well. So we're done. That's it. I will not talk about it until I can.
Well, I'll just tell you what TikTok's saying, because that's where I get all my news from.
TikTok,
no, I truly
honestly, TikTok is not a bad source of. There are some very good sources of information. Is that passing the buck? No, I will not burn. I will not burn people who entrust me with information. I swore to uphold this country's constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I swore whether that clearance that I possessed is still intact or not, and which it's not. There are things that I can never talk about, and that is a lifetime contract of not speaking on it. And when I have people who I trust implicitly tell me it's not the time and don't, because this can create more harm than good, I'm going to listen to them. So no, it's not passing the buck. Go ahead, Amy.
I just want to say, yes, in the last 2 weeks, I have become like minorly obsessive TikTok. I don't do social media, so like I'm now on TikTok just watching. My algorithm is cat and dog videos, flat Earth people, and some generalized weird news stories. So when I see something, I don't believe it. Just like I didn't believe it, I was like, oh, whatever. I literally just like, okay, cool. So, but they're talking about this. I guess there was a UFO sighting or something, some kind of flying object that was larger than a standard aircraft in North Carolina and then over DC that had crashed apparently. And then they saw these drones the next night and then they came back again. And then there was drones spotted somewhere in Europe as well, flying around that people were saying they're flying in weird patterns. So that's what TikTok's saying.
Yeah, I can't. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's all I got on this subject.
Wow, Wanda, that's amazing.
Wanda, thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Wanda, that is incredible. Thank you so very, very much. That is so extremely kind of you. That is incredible. Thank
Wanda.
you. It happens on occasion, and that is a massive donation. I'm assuming that is going to the hurricane victims. Would you like me to go ahead and attach a message to that, Wanda? Please let me know. The Don't Unfriend Me Show is going to pay all taxes on this. Unfortunately, it's a donation, so it's 40% taxed, and we have no problem paying all the taxes on this, and we will make sure every single penny goes tax-free as a donation. It's our treat. So thank you very much. I just wanted everyone to know who donates that tonight's donations are going to be going to hurricane victims in North Carolina and Asheville after an amazing phone call we had. I'm assuming you know that. And anyone who doesn't want that to, please let us know and just send us a quick message and we'll fix everything. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else to say on that. But let me explain something. I will tell you, not everything is as it appears to be. And okay, I can say one thing, and I'm going to say this. Sometimes there are threats that you don't see, but you can see if you look at how we play defense. And what you think might be a foreign country isn't. And you might see technology that you don't understand because you're not supposed to. And if we talk about that technology and disclose information on that technology, you then make it susceptible to foreign interference where it can no longer do its job, which is counterintelligence. Do you understand? Relax. Okay? You're not supposed to know.
Go ahead, I'm Leeroy. Pretty forthcoming with what I know on this show, and it's substantial. I'm an expert in most things military in terms of avionics and missiles and operations and, who's where and what are they doing. This is one of those times where the less the public knows, the better. Okay? So if you really wanted to know and you felt compelled to dig, I would be ultra cautious because you might find out that you would then be followed up with knocks at your door from a 3-letter agency that says, we need to have a little chat.
Yeah.
So just be very careful. Okay, people?
Yeah. Folks, I did an article on this that talked about certain secure areas that were being reconned by unknown people. This was at Langley. This was in Fort Bragg or Fort Freedom, that you want to call it, whatever you want to call it now. This was in Annapolis. And I have it on very good understanding that this is not a foreign threat. This is a counterintelligence defensive posture. That's all I can say. And that's all I will say. And that's fair. I can say that much. I can't say anything else. Okay? That's it. Good. Does everyone feel comfortable? You should. Amy, go ahead. Amy doesn't feel comfortable. She wants to push back. Push back, Amy.
No, I'm not. I actually didn't want to push back. I was just saying, just make sure everyone's prepared. Make sure you have your family taken care of always. Like, be prepared. Make sure you have food, water, ammo, all the stuff. I don't know why. But say,
I can't get stars. Facebook they never gave me stars. They took stars away day one. And I can start an account with 5 people on it and have stars if I go live. They won't give me stars. They will not pay me for my Instagram Reel videos. They throttle my full videos. I can only make money on Instagram, but they've demonetized my Instagram videos because they said I used a video, and everyone knows that I don't, that I didn't have permission to use, which is a lie because everything I do is under fair use. So it's Fort Bragg. It's not Fort Liberty, Fort Freedom. I don't give a shit. It's Fort Bragg and Benning. And that's just the way it is for me.
Yeah, Facebook also charged us more for advertising last month than they paid us.
That's right.
Even though they don't advertise for us. So there's really no point.
It's wrong, folks. And what Facebook is doing is criminal. And one of these days there's going to be a class action lawsuit and we'll go over it. But they almost bankrupted us. And we were fine. Everything was great. Amy, Leeroy, and I sat down about 30 days prior. I said, guys, if we have another month like that, we're going to start profit sharing. You know, it's not going to be an ungodly amount, but you guys can expect a couple thousand a month for what you do. And then boom, they pulled it out from underneath us. So we're going to get back to a spot, but we've got a lot to make up for. And I put a lot into this show this year, and you guys have been amazing. We really did. We put tens of thousands of dollars into this show every single year, and we've got to start making some scratch. We got kids, we got a mortgage, everybody's got this.
College in 3 years.
We've got a lot of this.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, Wanda, it absolutely will go to the hurricane relief. I just didn't know with a donation that size, I have to ask. And yes, ma'am, we will send everything we've made tonight. Right now, we're sending $1,006.76 to Hurricane Relief Fund this evening, and it's our pleasure. And we'll let you guys know. I'll show you the receipts, and we'll do what we always do. Maybe we can present a check and just go and make a weekend of it if this keeps getting if it keeps getting this high, because this is awesome.
Yeah. I would like to say thank you to Jennifer Rice for ordering the first Dub Nation jacket.
Oh yeah, it's a big.
I didn't know we had jackets. Whoops.
Oh, you didn't? You got it. Oh, it's awesome. You got to see it. You got to see it.
I ordered mine.
You did?
Oh, what's the material? Because I own like 1,000 jackets. I need another one. I love jackets.
Let me show you. No, I'm going to give you the full.
Beautiful.
I'm going to give you the full treatment. Designed by Matthew Spear. Sorry, folks. We will have a little more show after this. It's Friday, and we're in great moods, and things are good. This jacket is actually. I'm so excited. You have to send me a picture when you get it because I'm so pumped up to show this jacket. So
look at that.
Ooh.
So it is the DUM Nation. Oops. Hold on.
Is it fleece? I can't tell.
Members only jacket for that.
Yeah. No, it is not a fleece. It is a. Let me explain everything. So high neck for weather resistance, so it'll come over your chin. This has a Velcro strap, full zipper, pocket here for phone or something else. The cuffs are Velcro tightened, so no wind will come up. The entire bottom, so it can hug your hip, is Velcro. 2 pockets here. This is all embroidered DUM Nation. Then it on the back has the giant Don't Unfriend Me logo embroidered in the center, all stitched. That's beautiful. That's what it's going to look like. And it is a water resistant, water repellent inside lining. You can wear it. I have a Columbia just like it is Columbia jacket. I have the exact same one here at home. It cost me $150. We're selling this for $115 with embroidery, with a giant pat. I mean, you guys have no idea the price, how good this is for what we're getting.
I'm gonna get one. Yeah.
And honestly, it's also got the U.S. flag and the Don't Unfriend Me show at the bottom cuff. We're selling these for $115 starting. Folks, if you use your discount code, we make $0. Like, I wanted to make sure that people could get a jacket that's awesome. We're not really interested in making a whole bunch of money off this. I think if you don't use your code, we're going to make like $15-20, and I don't even care because this thing's sexy as hell, and I can't wait to get it because I'm going to wear it everywhere. I'm really pumped up. So there you go.
I love it. I'm going to get one. I will order one this evening if I don't forget. I have a quick question about our DUM Club. Do we have a thing this week? Is it this weekend?
Okay.
Would it be next weekend?
So let's talk about the DUM Club. Yeah. We have been very, very, we got screwed over. Like
Yeah.
huge. Like Spreely completely abandoned us. They were supposed to send out gift boxes. They were supposed to set up these. It's been shit. The people who are still doing Dumb Club, we are trying to create something, but it is so busy right now. It is so crazy that we can't catch up. So what I want to do is I want to kind of look at it, and I want to do like a tier system for it, where you're there 1 month, you get a coffee mug. You're there for 2 months, you get a shirt. 3 months, you get a long sleeve. 4 months, you get a hoodie. 5 months, you get a jacket. We want to try to do something like that, but we also want to give content that's rich and it means something. And I just don't know how to do it because I don't have enough time, and I don't want to put us behind a paywall. So the people who are giving are some of our most loyal followers, and I know they're not pissed off and they're not frustrated. So what I would like to do is schedule the next dumb call. And Leeroy and Amy, I don't know if you could be there, but let's schedule it if you're down. And if you can't, it's no big deal. But if we could do it the 30th. No. Scratch that. No, not 30th. Wait.
The 26th of October?
That would be, yeah.
The 26th of October would be awesome.
Yeah, I can do that.
And what I'd love to do is we can do that at noon, the 26th of October, kind of bring everybody together. And I want to really talk to the members and find out, what do they want out of this? What do they want? Because it's been really hard. It's been really hard. And I want to create something special. And what I want to do is I want to get other content creators to like Damani to put something on our show, or have Leeroy and Amy come in and do something. But it's really hard right now because the things that they offered, they never followed through. They didn't take care of us at all.
And they still never paid us for the last, I don't know. And also it's amazing how we have our own Spreaker account for our podcast now, which was under the Spreely name. And we were making like nothing. And now we're actually making money off of the podcast. It's amazing that, and he never would give us our numbers. We would ask for him every month, and he would make an excuse as to why we couldn't see our numbers. And now I know why. It's because he was stealing from us.
We got taken. And you know what? It's fine. You know what? I'm not going to speak ill of people, and I said too much already, but my members mean a lot to me, and to be abandoned like that, when we relied on them. So I promise you this, if we can just hold on a little bit longer, that we can get through the political season and get right up to Christmas, we can come up with something that's really special and really awesome in value. And if we can't, we're just going to refund everybody whatever they paid into it. And it's not like, it's going to break the bank, but it means that much to us that we want to do it right. So hang with us on the Dumb Club. Nobody signed up for it yet. The people who are there, if you want to continue to do that, that's great. And if you don't, we understand. And if anyone feels slighted or not loved or whatever, just let us know, and we'll refund your money on the Dumb Club. Okay. But we knew that this was going to be a problem. But I'll tell you what, Spreaker is doing really well. Like, if you could see our growth, we're now downloaded. I think this month we had 75,000 downloads. That's incredible. That's huge. Wow. And Spreaker is really starting to take off because we're putting the live shows on Spreaker. Okay. So
I like it.
All right. Use your manager skills, Matt. No, it's not that. It's that I really want the Dumb Club members to be on the call. So let's do that on the 26th, and let's get on there and let's start. Like,
let's brainstorm.
Yeah, Matt, we would love, I think it would be awesome to have, PFC flags on there and to do a desktop flag for everybody and find a way to do it. There's things we can do. Also, with the Arcadia book publishing, giving away a book a month that has to do. I mean, they just came out with a new one.
Oh, we could do like a Dumb Club.
Lady J is suggesting a challenge coin.
Yeah, that's something we could do. But look, it's the signers of the Constitution. It has every person and that has their biography and photograph.
Oh, that's cool.
Of all the constitutional signers. Like, this book would be great. I mean, and you're like, you get that in the mail and you're like, dude, that's worth whatever. So we're coming up with things and we're figuring it out, and just hang with us. That's all I ask, is hang with us. And if the last thing I'll say that is this is Wimkin.com, and we've got 300 people on, which really makes me happy. 308. Wimkin.com. If you have not been over there, Jason Shepard is one of the best dudes that I can tell you. He takes care of us every month. We never have to chase down money. We never have to beg him for anything. He said he was going to give stocks to all of our hosts, and Amy Stamp. He did.
And he did.
He is a good human being, and his mother and father are deathly ill. And he's been and then his house was flooded, and he's dealing with that. Then Donald Trump was supposed to go to his plant for the fentanyl testing, and they waved it off. And then JD Vance was supposed to go, and then he waved it off. He needs a break. And he's such a good human being. If you can go to Wimkin and sign up, and it is a process. You got to put in your profile pic. You got to put in your username and password. Write that down. Don't forget, people. My elderly audience, just like when I worked at AOL, write that shit down. And then in 24 hours, he'll approve you. But Wimkin is a great platform. It is Twitter, it is Instagram, it is Facebook. And with all these people on, we're not trying to take you from Twitter or Facebook, but we want you to participate in a free speech network. It is 9 million people strong, and it is 100% free speech. Please go over there and sign up for us.
And if you have issues signing up, either PM me or email me at olivia@thedumshow.com, and I can help you. I've already walked through several people and actually signed up for people using what they wanted. I can always help you as well.
When you go there, it is a very friendly interface, very much like a Facebook or Twitter, puts it a little bit of an amalgamation of both. And it's very user-friendly, and I do like it. I like using it.
It's very, very strong. So, hey, the 26 is our call. Anybody who's not a part of the Dumb Club and you want to be a part of that, just let us know. Anyone, and just send me a quick email, matt@thedumshow.com or olivia@thedumshow.com. Something's changing. I'm feeling something here. This is incredible. These numbers, we got 308 people on a Friday night. This format that we did, I think, was extremely beneficial. I think we utilized our hosts better than we've done in a long time, and I'm trying to learn how to be a better host. And me getting involved with the chat, it doesn't work. I love talking to people, but I'm not here to chase trolls. We're here to bring you information. So I'm trying to recommit to that. But tonight shows that we had a really good formula, and I think we just need to continue to do this, to bring the things that other people aren't talking about, bring you the best information possible. And the donations tonight to hurricane victims is incredible. We couldn't thank you enough. Yeah. Leeroy, take us out, and then Amy, and then Olivia.
And I have to get going because I got to go pick up the kids. For
Olivia,
the
you go
game.
first.
So just want to say thank you. Want to say thank you, everyone, for the donations. That is absolutely amazing. We'll let you know when we get that down to them. And I appreciate everyone on tonight. And I will see you all on Monday.
Go over to the Dumb Show fan page. Thank you, honey. I'm glad you're safe. Please don't try not to hit any deer on the way to the kids.
You know, I think I must have tensed up when I tried to turn because my arm right here is killing me. So I might have pulled a muscle in my arm or my shoulder.
I'll make sure to give you a thorough.
Did you?
There was no red nose that I saw, so that's a good thing.
I'll make sure to give you a thorough inspection later tonight.
Yes, please.
Real quick, also, if you go to Wimkin, go to the Dumb Show fan page. It's run by Amy. They got 40 members over there. Stop on by. It's a cool thing. Please go over there and do that. Amy, go ahead. Liv, get out of here. We love you.
The other Amy, not
Bye, Liv.
Amy. Different. Yeah.
Glad you're okay.
Bye, Liv. Glad you're okay, Liv. She can't hear
love
us,
you.
can she?
She said she's glad you're okay. Amy said.
Yeah. So did Leeroy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leeroy loves you too. Go ahead, Ames.
It was great. It was great being here tonight. I haven't been here on like a Friday, and it's been a while. So it's nice. I love this energy. It was good to see everybody, and I'm so grateful that everyone donated, especially to the hurricane victims. And this is going to do so much for them. And I'm just so happy that we can facilitate that. So just happy Friday, everybody. Yeah.
I'm hearing that a plush Yenny. If I can,
I saw that. Yes.
Can I tell you? All right, can I let it out? Can I tell you guys something?
Yes.
Yeah.
We will have a Christmas sweater, and Yenny is on the front.
I love it.
Nice.
It's going to be an ugly Christmas sweater, and Yenny will be on the front. I just heard that. That's awesome. Yeah, so that was the surprise. So we will have that. Just wanted to let you know. Leeroy, 309 people aren't leaving. It's incredible. Yeah. Go ahead, Leeroy.
That is so good. It's a good night. Well, we covered quite a bit tonight. And I will say that by far, for me personally, the highlight was Colonel Honeycutt, who had called in and kind of gave us a rundown of where things were at within Asheville, and how the National Guard and supplies and volunteer groups and churches have all kind of come together to really help them out. We covered a lot with Kamala Harris and her rally. We covered a lot. I will say that if you know anybody who lives in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, make sure that you're reaching out to them and make them understand the issues that are at stake, make them understand that our future really is kind of in their hands. Those are the big swing states. So if you know anybody in those states, please make sure that you're conveying the need to vote. Beyond that, I'm glad that Olivia is okay. Yeah, that's rough, man. And let me know if you need any help with the Honda. And for Colonel Honeycutt and this money that we raised, I am so happy to be part of a program that would allow for that. Right. Yeah. I'm glad to be able to help, and thank you.
I want to say one thing real quick to a listener, Amy and Leeroy, if you have to drop, it's late. You guys need to go. I just wanted to say this real quick.
Going on tonight.
All right.
I actually
good.
I have ready for tomorrow, so I got to go.
Joanne,
guys. I love you.
I see you, bud.
Yep.
All right. Quickly, Joanne says, Matt, you need to post the list of what Trump did. I'll be happy to. I've just got to now type it out, and I've made them before. I wanted to say something about Carrie. Real quick. So here it is. Last night we had, first of all, thank you. I would love the link. Please send it to me, Carrie, because we're seriously going to get Yenny plushies. We need to.
Yeah.
I had a viewer last night who is a Qer.
Oh.
And I need to explain something so you all understand real quick of why I am the way I am when it comes to facts. And I will tell you that at a young age, I wasn't able to discern fact from fiction. I wasn't able to. ADHD plagued me. And I had tested in 5th grade, and my reading levels at a 12th grade, I had an IQ test that was well above average. And they moved me into 7th grade. But I had development issues. I mean, they skipped me 2 levels. I failed. I had all Fs in 5th grade. Went over the summer to a specialist who was a tutor. And she's like, he doesn't need to be held back. He needs to be pushed forward because he's bored. And I failed miserably. And the reason I failed then was because I was socially awkward, was picked on. But they pulled me in again, dropped me back down to 6th grade. I didn't have to repeat 5th. And then went ahead and started testing me. And I was asked random questions. How big is the world around? And I answered 1,000,000 miles because I didn't know. I used to think that all the continents were in the United States.
I did too.
Yeah.
Even after learning the geography, I still thought that.
I just thought they were all inside. And when I saw a map, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I could do geometry. I could understand just small sections of trig, but I couldn't do basic algebra, and I couldn't do long division. And there was something inside of me that was incredibly untapped, and I was blocking myself. I could read a book, like I read War and Peace at 8 years old. I read Hondo at 6. I read To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, after watching the movie. I must have been 5 years old. I think in my first grade, I read 300 and some odd books during the summer. It was a challenge, and they asked us to read, see if we could reach 25 books. And I read 300. Some of my mom worked at B. Dalton Bookseller, and I just read. And we're not talking like shitty books; we're talking books. But I could not practically apply my understanding, and it was too difficult for me. And it took the military to really learn how to fine tune my discipline and focus on the things that were distracting me from understanding. And then when I left the military, I mean, I graduated top 2% in my intelligence class. I received 2 honorary C schools from the military, which is unheard of. You don't get 2 C schools. And I advanced and I did well. And then when I left the military after my accident, I excelled in college. I made dean's list. I was on the debate club. I was popular. I was student body vice president for the college. But I was beat up and picked on in high school. I was horribly awkward. So the reason I'm telling you all of this is that I loathe people who take advantage of people who are smart and intelligent and can't connect the dots sometimes. And I think it is an affront. And that's why on this show, I am so serious about what information I present to you and how credible my team and my friends and the moderators and everyone who assists in this show have to be, because I don't want you on this show if you can't do that. So when I see people who are duped, good people, it may seem like I'm mad at them. And there was a gentleman who came on last night who was spouting Q conspiracies. And I get pissed off when I hear people spread that information because I think they're being taken advantage of horribly. And they say, well, it's just my opinion. No, it is not an opinion. You are stating that it's fact based on your opinion. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying you have no evidence, no empirical data to demonstrate that you're right. Therefore, you're wrong. It's not me saying that. You're saying that. And people will expose themselves and say, well, this is just my opinion. And that's fine. You can have an opinion. But you're presenting it as fact, and there's a difference. Now, the reason I bring this up in long in the tooth, and I'm keeping the show going, is for a reason. Carrie has been on this show for years. I think it's been years.
Yeah.
And I have come after her harder than anyone else on this show. And she'll say something, and bam. I've banned her from the show for 24 to 72 hours. I've called her out personally. I've hit her hard on stolen elections. I've hit her hard on conspiratorial type comments. I have yelled. And I've been super hard on this lady. And I'm not going to say I'm sorry, because I'm not. What I'm going to say is that she is probably among many of my other viewers who need to be called out for their extraordinary capabilities of being ungodly loyal, is that she has done something incredible, which is now contributing to the show on a factual level, assisting me with accurate information, checking herself to ensure that she is doing the diligence that's required to be a part of this show that we ask everybody. And I am so incredibly proud of her, because who she was, and it's not because she agrees with me, because we still disagree. The point is that she is checking her information before sharing it, because she believes in the responsibility that you have in this show to accurately represent what we're trying to do. And to me, it means the world. And I've got plenty of other people I can call, and I will in time. But to me, I've just noticed it, and it means the world to me. And I just want to say thank you. Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And I would not have really deducted that myself. But now that you've pointed out, it's like, yes, you're 100% right. Yeah, you hit people a lot, but it's well-deserved, I think, 99.9% of the time. I mean, there's a few times we're like, hey, man, they're not, commenting to somebody else or whatever. But yeah, and Carrie's amazing. We love her. So I'm glad she's still here. And I'm glad we have people who are like Carrie, who are not just going to go, they were mean to me, I'm going to leave. They're like, wait, well, why? Let me ask the why. And I think that's important. And I think that's why we have a great community. I love the people who come here and support us and who share us out. And I think we have the best community out there. We may not be the largest, but I think we have the very best of people.
I could not say that better. I truly believe that. Like, and it pains me. Like Tuner and I bumped heads last night, but we were in messages, and I'm like, dude, I love you. You're my family, and we should never. And there was another person named Ingrid who used to come here all the time, and she doesn't show up because she doesn't agree with what I said about Ashley Babbitt. Folks, the whole point of this show is to toughen you up a little bit, where you can listen to something that you don't agree with and don't walk away from someone you care about. That's why we do this. And anyone who right now is like, why isn't Matt calling me out? I've done so much for this show. Because that's not what this is about. This isn't about individual accolades. It's that people influence others in due time. And if it's not on your timeline, don't take that personal, right? Because I could sit here for frickin' 10 more hours and tell you about the people who have impacted my life in this show. All of you deserve something. Not all of you are going to get it, but I'm going to do my damnedest that when I see it to recognize it. And Carrie just impressed the shit out of me the last few months, that she has really turned a corner, because I'll tell you, she spread some batshit crazy stuff. I'm talking way off her fucking rocker stuff where I was like, oh my God. I don't think that that's anything other than she's listened to the show for so long that she is a better, more critical person than she was when she started. And that's what we want to do. We want to make people critical thinkers. We want to make them logical thinkers. We want people to say, no, I don't know if I believe that. I can't trust you because you did this before. So I'm going to investigate to make sure you never can do it to me again. That's what I want from my viewers. All right. That's it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. 314. We're not dropping viewers. Twitter people, awesome. Please go and follow. We've got almost 200 followers. We have 240 people watching on Twitter. And I will tell you that, I know, I don't think we've went up in follows. So let me go double check. And then we'll get out of here.
Social media. I just need to not be a loser and get back on social media. I've actually really enjoyed not being on social media. And I'm really enjoying TikTok. It is such a fun app. And I don't really, I don't comment on people's stuff, but I do have a very strange algorithm. So for me, it's super fun. So.
Well, you like dogs and cats and stuff. Folks, 249 people on Twitter, and we have two new followers. Listen, Twitter people, follow. It's okay. Follow our page if you would not mind. You'll get updates. We're 7:00 weeknights. We cover a lot of great stuff. Thanks for watching tonight. Amy.
Yeah.
This has been a long road, and I love you to death. And you're my good buddy, and you're always there for us. And I'd take a bullet for you, just so if you didn't know that.
Ditto. And if you guys need a car, I don't know if I've said it a couple times, but I think you're always doing. If you guys need a car, we have an extra. So,
I need to get a car, but
yeah,
I just haven't needed it. And it's just gotta sit here. I mean, I walk to Mike's, and then I go down to Tammy's. And I work out downstairs. Everything I need is here in my house. All right. We love you guys. If I forgot anybody, if I didn't hit somebody up, thank you for the donations. We should have an update on Monday. I'm going to do some investigations, and then we'll figure out which donation we're going to send this to. God bless everybody. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on Monday. Thanks, Ames.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody. See ya.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.